Hi, chat. Chat, hello. Hello, chat. Welcome. Welcome into the stream. Welcome to a certified cringe nay baby stream. So, today we have some very exciting streams going on this week and next week as well. Today is going to be the start of our Fall in Love visual novel festival streams, which is very long. It's a work in progress for me as far as how I'm going to title it. But basically, for a few days of this week and the following week, we're going to be exclusively streaming games that are available during Steam's visual novel festival that is hosted by Studio Elan. And all the games that I feature during this period are all going to be part of that bundle. I'm actually going to pin the link to the actual the Steam store page for the visual novel festival, so I'm gonna put that in here real quick. Probably should have done that earlier, but it's okay. It's okay. We're doing great. The chat sponsored by the Total Gods. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's see. Steam. That. Oh. Does it not let me? No! Why won't you let me? It doesn't fucking let me. What the hell? It doesn't fucking let me. Okay. So, I'll tell you what. Yeah, can anyone hear? Oh. Yeah, I mean, we should be able to fucking hear. Yes, hello, Turtle. Hi. Hi, Turtle. Hello. Yeah, how the fuck? That is so weird. I don't know why it won't let me copy and paste it in here. That's a little fucking silly. It's a little silly. Okay, so I will tell you guys what. When I release the VOD for this stream, I'm actually going to have the links for both the game that I'm playing today and also the visual novel itself actually in the description of the VOD. So if you're watching it on YouTube, then that's where you're gonna find that stuff. That's a link for the Lore of Turtle coming soon. Let's go, dude. But yeah, so we have that going on today. I'm also very excited because we also get to have a very funny hee haha interview with the two-man team, the self-proclaimed two-man team behind the Ghost of Alcantra, which is the game we're going to be playing today. I'm very excited. I've always wanted to do this kind of thing, this little kind of like short interview thing, right? Yeah, of course. And yeah, so we're actually gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna let them know that we're ready. Okay. This is very professional. This is a very professional stream. Okay. There, let me see. The Fuji text should show up. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Tenna. And I'm actually gonna put myself. Hello, Tiki. I'm actually gonna put myself over here. There we go. Okay. We should be good now. Let's go ahead and give them a call. Here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good to meet you. Okay, so I think introductions would be good to start. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us why you're here.
Sure. You want to go first? And should I call you Captain Erica or your real name?
We can call me. We can go our names. It's fine.
There we go. Yeah.
Alright, I'll go first. So I'm Captain Erica or Nick. You can call me Nick.
Okay.
Where I basically have the two-man crew. Colin over there, he's the author, and I basically did everything else.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's a great start. I love that.
And I'm Lelouch Swag on the internet because I was cringy enough to call myself that a decade ago, I think. and I wrote the thing. You can call me Colin because I'm credited as my real name. in the
Okay,
thing
there you go.
anyway, So.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and get
So-
started then.
You just gonna ask us these questions that you sent us earlier?
Pretty much, yeah. That's
You want
that's
us
what we're
to
gonna be asking.
Do more for introducing ourselves.
Yeah, no. Like we can definitely go through the questions right now. Actually, this is perfect. So that way, it's almost like a prelude before the actual gameplay. It's actually perfect. So first off, when it comes to the studio name, was there any like inspiration behind that, or was it just like I thought it sounded cool?
Yeah, I guess I could speak to that. So, basically, so more, I guess, some context. So,
Sure.
Colin and I, we've been friends since, as long as I can remember, about 3rd grade. Is there a connection problem?
I don't think so. I mean, I was able to hear it for a minute, but like I don't know if it's like it's a point where like.
Yeah, I'm back. We're good.
Okay. I was like,
Okay.
oh.
I'm on my work.
Alright.
I'm on my
good.
work laptop because my other laptop is a dying dinosaur from a long time ago when I was in undergrad.
Gotcha.
So I decided to use this one just in case I would die on that other one, but this one died anyway. So
Yeah, there you go.
okay,
So,
but I'm back
anyway,
now.
we've been friends for a long time. But we about, I don't know how long ago was this, but was this like
I wrote this
7 years ago? We're talking about the studio name.
Yeah, just as it.
Cat box
It's
thing.
been about 7 years ago. We wanted to make an anime blog.
Oh,
a
okay.
review blog.
It was second year of undergrad.
Yeah, so that was that was a while ago.
Jesus.
But Cole and I have been friends since 3rd grade, so we've been friends for almost 20 years.
Oh,
Best
cute.
friends.
I love that.
But yeah, so we're both huge Umaneko fans. Umaneko Nakakorni. And the name is tangentially inspired by that.
Right.
So that's kind of where it came from. So that was the name of our blog back then. It's no longer on the internet. You can't even find it.
Damn.
No. We decided to continue. I decided to continue the legacy. And so that's how we kind of came up with the studio name.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I guess like even just like that actually kind of answers the question 2 I had, how you two came together in the first place. It actually makes a lot of sense that like you two even came together in the first place. It was like I think you kind of like both like were like, oh, I like doing this thing. Oh, I like doing this thing. It's sort of like in a way kind of combining both of like what I think are pretty great talents in this industry right now. Like we need more like creative minds, especially like when it comes to indie games, just the gaming sphere in general. We need like fresh perspectives on shit, and I think it's really cool that we have this festival at all to highlight some of these games, because sometimes these are games that slip through the cracks, and it's just nice that we're able to have that. And that actually leads into my third question, actually. What was the reason that you guys got into game development, and who was your inspiration in general for it?
Nick better say that I'm his inspiration because he got involved just because he wanted to not make sure you don't fuck it up.
He first said his inspiration.
So I had written the script in summer of 23, I think. And like this is kind of morbid, but my advisor when I was doing my dissertation passed away relatively early, and I was like, holy shit, mortality is a thing.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to leave something I really wanted to do, for my life. Wanted to do that while I could. And so I wrote the Ghost of Alcantra between the summer of 2023 and October. I was inspired by Umaneko, which Nick talked about earlier, and another visual novel called Subahibi. That's another one of my favorites. So the thematic underpinning of the story is sort of based on those two.
Okay.
But in terms of like inspiration for as to making it, I have to let Nick respond to that because I am incompetent at everything besides doing the writing stuff. So I wrote a draft in Google Docs of the story, and then I was just sort of leaving as an open question of what would happen to it, of what format it would come. And then Nick decided to intervene and help make it a visual novel, so I didn't fuck it up. I'm not good at making anything.
I believe my exact words were, "I believe in this story enough that I can't let you fuck it up."
Which is fair. You spit with that.
And it's like, I want this to work. I need to get in this so it can work.
Like, to be honest,
Colin's the visionary. I'm the one who makes it happen.
Visionary is some hot shit talk, but I'll take it.
So, is right now, as far as like game development, is it just like, oh, we're gonna make this game for fun and just see how it goes, or do you plan on making like more titles in the future?
We're gonna make more.
There you go.
I mean, it's sort of a combination of both.
Love that.
I've already written the second story we're gonna plan to make, but we're doing this for fun.
Already?
So.
Jesus, you must be popping that shit like crazy then. Like, to even have that many ideas.
I'm a Celsius energy drink addict. Might as well make something useful out of it.
Oh, there you go. Let me see. So, kind of coming into the sort of like creative and technical side of things. As far as like because for some of us, especially for streaming, we have routines that we do in order to prepare ourselves for making the game, or like a rough draft or blueprint or whatever, right? Do you have any sort of like preparation or blueprint thing that you usually do before you are like, hey, I want to turn this into a game?
You want the long answer or the short answer?
Whichever, honestly, because I'm going to be here for a while.
Okay, because Nick can give you the structured sort of answer. I can start with the story stuff, and then Nick can talk about the tech side of things. Because once the story is, first draft is written, I just I jump out of the way and be useless for the next, 6 months of making it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So in terms of putting the story together, I have a lot of insomniac tendencies. So I get a lot of story ideas by not sleeping or walking or going on walks and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
And then once I have sort of the thematic goal of what I want to tell, like what sort of narrative I want to try, right? Then I do a very, very, very detailed outline for each scene. I know a lot of people are not into that for making the stories, but I'm not the sort of person who can just go in there and wing it.
Sure, yeah.
So I have a very detailed outline. I outline where the scene takes place, sort of the vibes of it, and then I outline individually the order of things that happen in that scene, and I do that for each and every scene. So it's like a 26-page document was the Ghost of Alcantra's, just the outline for it, and then the story itself ended up being 175k words total, right?
Damn.
So,
no wonder, because it's funny, because when I was first thinking about streaming this game, one of the things, I don't know who wasn't mentioning it, but one of you was saying like, oh yeah, this is going to take more than one session. That's how long this is. It's going to take about like maybe 6 hours. I was like, damn, all right, I'm shutting the fuck up. I'm sitting my fat ass down for this.
Yeah, sorry about that. It is not a short read.
You know what? I love reading. I'm a literacy buff. Like, I love reading. I'm here for it,
I am currently struggling with William Faulkner, so. Sound and the Fury, dude. That's a miserable experience, but.
Let's see.
Mr. Philosopher over there.
Mr. Philosopher. And then.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, here we go.
He's an actual he's an actual philosopher. That's like not like a joke.
Oh. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I know what this is, probably.
I am a philosophy professor, so it is my job to be pretentiously literate.
There you go. As far as so what games you want to? I should actually say this because you do plan on making more. What are the kind of games that you hope to make? Is it still going to be like visual novel based, or are you planning to delve into like other forms or new stories?
Yeah, I think we're going to stick with visual novels unless Nick figures out the tech skill to make a game.
Well, there you go. And some of the best games that we have out here now are like can be made to visual novel format. Like we have Doki Doki Literature Club, which is like one of the most like popular indie games that was out for like at least a good couple years, and that was a visual novel, and even that broke a lot of the, I guess, like structure and like rules when it came to visual novels, and ended up working really well in its favor. And it's like there's a lot of possibilities that you can do with that,
So we kind of hope to do something not similar to Doki Doki specifically, but in terms of like what branding of stories we want to do, we've got a couple in line. One's already written, then we'll have some more maybe thinking in the future. In terms of branding for those, I think we want to not really be known for any specific genre, but if we're trying to do stories that you wouldn't typically see maybe in the medium so often from a narrative standpoint. So not from a technical, like maybe interactive perspective, like in terms of clicking and choices. But in terms of narratives you see in the visual novel sphere, it's mostly like romance-based ones or horror-based ones, and I want to be more experimental potentially. So my second work is pretty wild and crazy. Maybe not by visual novel standards, but in terms of the content, it's not what you'd expect a story to be about. And so going forward, I think our stories, we want to be diverse in terms of like what type of stories we tell, and we'll advertise ourselves as that way, I think. That's Nick's problem because he's the advertising face for us. Once I do the Google Doc, I live in a cave.
But actually, how has that been, that process actually of taking some of your partner's stories actually, Erica, and then putting them into a visual novel format? Has it been easy? Has it been hard? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's been a learning experience, to put it lightly. I have no formal training in programming or anything.
Right.
I mean, I work, in STEM, so at least I have a little bit of,
Gotcha.
that sort of side of things. But I've had to learn Ren'Py from scratch. But taking Colin's vision. So Colin's not giving himself enough credit here when he says he just writes it. He also puts in a lot of comments about direction and such like that. Things he wants gives me a direction where things need to go per scene.
Yeah.
So usually the way things go, I go through each scene, format it correctly, put it in, and then and then there's always this certain amount of figuring out the expressions for the character. That's where a lot of the expressiveness comes in, right? You gotta figure out what other characters come in and everything like that.
I mean, I'm sure there has to be some things that you've had to like tweak or like fix in order to like really, because the thing is, like, when you're trying to like fully encapsulate someone else's vision, especially when you're like essentially business partners, like that could be really difficult sometimes, if like if the message isn't put out like in the way that they would want it to be. But it's really cool how, like, I mean, clearly it's worked. You have a full game out and you clearly plan to make more. I mean, have you, and what it's just I'm sure it was worked out for you, really,
Probably as best they can. And Nick and I have an advantage of working together because we know each other so well, is that I give Nick a ton of creative freedom for that. So
yeah, exactly.
I put the initial comments in, but from there I let him basically do whatever he wants. Because he would know better than I about for the visual presentation and stuff, what is feasible, what is not feasible, what can amplify stuff. And even for some of the content stuff, one of the characters is named Scarlet Storm, and she's the redheaded detective. Nico gets a credit in developing her as a character from the first draft to the final product.
There you go.
Yeah. Data reading is a big thing. I read the first draft, and Cole and I will go back and forth a lot on how to better improve the story, right? I mean, the first draft, the Ghost of Alcantra, had some issues, but we were able to rectify them, trim them down, and now the story is a lot better as a result. But
your best friend, you never know, they might shit talk you right in the Discord call in the interview.
Well,
keep your haters close.
And actually, so that actually kind of leads into my next questions. So how has from both sides actually, how has your attitudes towards game development changed over time? And is there a message or like sort of atmosphere, sort of vibe that you want to share through your games, through your further games?
So, Nick can talk about the technical side of what he wants to achieve. So the way the Ghost of Alcantra has a fair amount of monologue, I think, you might expect for a visual novel. You know, visual novels tend to be dialogue heavy. But my second work is going to be way, way, way more monologue, right? It's going to be more like internal in a character's head.
Right.
And based on their rants. And so for a visual novel, you got to make that like visually striking.
Yeah.
So you got to convey that effect of being in someone's head. And so we want our stories to be sort of tailored to each thing. So I suppose in terms of theme or vibe, I don't think we have specific themes or vibes maybe, because each story does something differently. But we want to be trying to make sure we're taking advantage of the medium as best we can. In the case of the Ghost of Alcantra, it's about trying to take advantage of different perspective and shaping how different first-person views can influence how a story is perceived. And the second one, it's more internal in one character's head.
Right.
So in terms of vibe or messages, like I don't think we have anything concrete or specific beyond making sure we utilize the medium to the fullest.
And the themes, tying into the themes, right?
And
then
I love that, especially because it's like this is fairly new for you guys right now. I mean, this is technically your first IP right now. If we're talking business-wise, it's technically your first IP. And, considering that, like, I am going to be pretty excited, actually, for the second release when that drops, because know that I'm going to be hopping on that shit immediately.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of it, too. Yeah. So part of this too, with in terms of you're talking about the presentation,
right?
So for the Ghost of Alcantra, I guess that's one message I want to as part of this whole thing is that, especially when you're starting out, working with your constraints rather than in spite of them,
right,
is really important especially when you have a low budget,
right.
So like you've seen pictures in the Ghost of Alcantra has picture backgrounds, right? And part of that, right, is just because getting a bunch of drawn backgrounds is expensive, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, but instead of trying to hide that, I tried to make the pictures a part of the entire identity, making it aesthetic rather than work in spite of it. So,
right.
I didn't try to mask the fact that they were real pictures with some filtering. I made it so it didn't distract, but not that it was completely obscured.
Yeah.
And then we also utilized it by using more background pictures. So you would get so there's more, it's more dynamic in that sense, right? So we're but that's sort of like a microcosm, right? Of working with what you have.
Exactly.
Right.
And so seeing that you're having some future games releasing, where do you see yourselves and or your studio in a year from now, basically? And if you want to share some little key details, if you don't want to, that's completely fine. But if you want to, feel free to also kind of give little breadcrumbs on those future projects as well.
I don't think we have anything to hide. The reason I'm
just saying, if you want to, unless you want to be give them a little bit just to be invested and then, wait till the big thing,
We can tell them what the story name is at least.
Okay.
It's called The Great Stock Thief, which is why I am skeptical about how to market it and then how to present it. So that's a problem for Nick later, I guess.
I'm sure you'll figure it out,
But in terms of a year, we'll probably be advertising that. So, and then the year after we got lesbian basketball players is the third one.
Let's go.
So I'm a big fan of the anime Sound Euphonium. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I don't know if I have, but yeah.
So Kumiko and Rain are one of my biggest ships there, and I've always been really sad that it was never really fully flourished. So I want to capture their dynamic in a sports setting. So
someone's probably just gonna like watch. This is gonna be posted to TikTok. Somebody's gonna like see you like that. It's gonna be like, oh, peak anime mention. Peak. It's peak.
There is a glaring omission in lesbian basketball stories.
Glaring.
The visual novels.
There you go.
We need to rectify that. So I do actually watch the WNBA, so I think I'm actually one of the better qualified people.
There you go.
That specific area of visual novel storytelling that might not have been tapped yet.
Very specific, but at least you're tapping into that market, you know.
I don't think there's many stories about stealing socks either.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. So, the Ghost of Alcantra is pretty universal in message and theming, and sort of in plot too. But the next two may be more specific audiences. Interested specifically in that.
Definitely.
But yeah, in a year, Nick's Mr. Positive Dude always berating me for being negative. I'm like, no one's ever gonna read these things. Blah blah blah. Great sock thief's gonna be unmarketable. No one's gonna read a story about stealing socks.
Someone might. You never know.
So in a year, if Nick's vision comes to fruition in terms of our marketing success, hopefully we'll be able to have a Patreon or Kickstarter or something so we can get a little funding to help out, so we can make added drawn backgrounds, more CGs, more dynamic CGs and stuff like that.
There you go. Chat, we need to get on that immediately. We'll start fucking Throne or something. We'll start our donation goal.
So we released first visual novel in April, and then we immediately said we're gonna up the stakes and increase the budget and shit like that. So
yeah, always gotta look ahead and shit.
Go bigger rather than smaller is Nick's parent philosophy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm dragging Colin in through that by the hair.
Well, I was really skeptical about, I just write the story and then I leave it as Nick's problem to see if it can be formatted into a visual novel, right? So
right.
if I release something and I'm like, Nick says, oh man, there's nothing we can do with this, you're on your own, but it'd probably just be an online free textbook, text novel. But Nick's taken it upon himself to keep this quote-unquote studio going, so we do plan on keeping releasing things, at least for the foreseeable future.
Okay. I like that answer. So when it comes to somebody, if there are people in our audience who are watching this and wants to be in game development or wants to get into story writing or anything like that, wants to make a game studio, what advice, if they were sitting in front of you, would you give them? We'll go ahead and start with Erica. What advice would you give?
All right. So my answer is going to be kind of very, very practical. It's that art is obviously started by passion, but it's also a lot of work. And it's consistency. Consistency is key. And I think it's building routines, making, and not burning yourself out.
Right.
So really it's just, if you've got the ideas, and start with what you know. I think a lot of times big problems seem like it's overwhelming or it's too much or, whatever. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start with something. Even if you have to redo it later, you learn something along the way.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's really cute.
That's so cheesy and positive.
It's nice. It's very nice.
Well, you see, we're the optimist-pessimist pair. So, let's get a healthy dose of skepticism from Mr. Philosopher.
There you go.
I mean, it's not being skeptical. It's just not believing in human nature.
And so what would Mr. Philosopher say about advice as far as story development?
Okay, I got a lot of them. Let's start with the wildest one first, which is you should write at night. Daytime is it's not pretty enough, right? It's not aesthetic. Cars drive by. You're not going to have artistic thoughts during the day.
Right.
So that's not applicable to everyone. But I'm a night owl. I wrote pretty much all of my fiction writing has been done at night. All my dissertating was done at night too. Before you start on the writing phase, I know there are discovery writers out there, but I would highly advise not believing in yourself, and then you write an outline just so you have something to go off when you get started, right? Because if you just go into a Google Doc or a Word document and then say, fuck it, we ball, right? You're gonna get stuck eventually without some guidance, and then you'll stare at your Google Doc, and that's just too anxiety inducing. So like to make things easier for yourself, I would really highly recommend outlining at least what you want to accomplish for individual scenes. And then in terms of also developing a story idea, I would recommend not boxing yourself into like a genre or something. Like tell the story you want to do and not worry about word counts or how many scenes, how many characters and stuff like that. I would like figure out what story you want to tell. Like if you're passionate about the story you want to do versus, oh, I'm making something to make something, right? I think you're more likely to actually stick through and finish writing it.
Yeah.
So if it turns out, like I had no idea how long Ghost of Alcantra was going to be, and the first draft ended up being 202,000 words, right? Which is like longer than a book like Crime and Punishment.
There you go.
Not everyone's built to read things like Crime and Punishment length. It's like if it's that long, it's that long.
Yeah.
The second one was considerably shorter. So The Great Sock Thief is 140-ish. words. So
damn. All right. Well, there you go. All very sound advice all around, and is actually perfect transition to our closing questions. How has the development of Ghost of Alcantra changed your everyday life, if at all? Like, was there any like changes, if anything?
Maybe an obsessively checking the Steam page to see if we got new reviews. We added that to the routine.
Well, there you go. The sound change.
Became a lot more busy.
Okay. Good busy, I hope. I hope it's good busy. Hope you're not overworking yourself, because that can happen too.
I've taken it on myself to give purpose and direction to Nick's life over there. So in terms of his everyday life, is what he does is he goes to work and comes home and he does the programming shit for making a visual novel. And then, since I've already got the second one written, by the time he finished the Ghost of Alcantra, he was ready to start thinking about programming the second one. So.
Yeah, there you go. See, and then go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's nice though. I think it's good. It's good to have something to work on outside of, work.
Yeah, I love that. I love this so much. Let's see. Was there anything that developing the Ghost of Alcantra taught you about yourself? Just it could be very general, or it could be very symbolic.
You want to go first, Nick? He actually did learn things like programming, so.
Yeah, but about myself, I mean, I learned some programming skills. I learned how to use GIMP because I had to make all the UI stuff. But I don't know. I learned that I guess I can do anything I put my mind to.
I like that.
That is maybe the most cliche thing ever, Nick.
It's true.
Well, it's a good message. It's very true.
It is a good message. You'll find that if you're doing something you love, right? I know a lot of people are reading visual novels in the high school undergrad, and undergrad is a really difficult time for a lot of people in terms of managing work and school balance right there. But I think you'll find that if you're doing something you love, you'll be more dedicated comparatively, because when you're doing schoolwork, and I tell this to my students, right? I know that they are not taking my class for the love of philosophy, and that they're taking it to meet a general ed requirement to get a degree, and that will translate to trying to get through the work, right? It's like doing your job.
something you got to do. But you know, for most of us doing visual novels, we don't have to do it. We do it because we love it, and you'll find that you're pretty dedicated when it's something you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like I spent like nearly half a year like getting rid of all my hobbies besides writing so I could do the Ghost of Alcantra. And I didn't think I was that type of person. I thought I was the type of person to sit and watch an anime all day if I didn't have work to do. And found out I was willing to stare at a Google Doc for hours a day to do something. I think you're never going to become famous writing visual novels. So to do something I wanted to do just to contribute a little bit to the world of fiction.
Exactly.
Creating something you love is so much more fulfilling than experiencing something else somebody else made.
Nick works a 9 to 5 job, so he's a corporate.
Yeah, I'm a corporate slave, so I get to flex my art wings.
I love that. And finally, before we close out, do you have any social media, maybe like a Blue Sky, maybe a Discord, where anybody who's interested in you guys or any of your further works can find more of it or interact with the community?
We have Blue Sky, a Twitch. I think you made a Twitch account for us, didn't you, Nick? Instagram. I think we got all of them. I think we got a YouTube account too. So I think.
Well, my YouTube is just my personal, but yeah.
Well, Nick is my go for doing all this nasty marketing stuff. Because I'm a philosopher, right? We live in caves and.
Yeah. Well, not like that.
Nick, you need to go and chat and chill for us and drop the links for everything.
Yeah, we have a Blue Sky, Twitter, we have an Instagram. We also have
we have a Discord group. I think.
We have a Discord that nobody's in. It'd be nice to have more people in there.
Well, my channel is what to do. Get the fuck on it. Let me see.
I don't think we've shared it with anyone. That'd be pretty tough for people to join.
We'll figure it out.
Our friend group.
There we go. Okay, perfect. There you go. You already have somebody. Let me see. Any final thoughts, real quick? Anything that I should be looking for, in the game before we close out?
Well, Nick keeps telling everyone to bring their tissues, but tissues aren't until 20 hours in. So.
Oh. Yeah.
It's towards the end of it.
I do have some. I should mention this. I have tissues. I have tissues.
You can temper your expectations about crying. It's not for a while.
I have tissues, and I have my little. I have a Cheems trigger with me, so we should be good, I think. Let's see.
Enjoy it.
And also in terms of the story is that it might take a little bit to get going because it's such a long script and there's a lot to do introducing the setting and stuff. So there's that to consider.
Yeah, there we go.
To temper expectations while Nick gasses us up, which is what we should do for marketing. But
yeah, well, thank you guys so much for joining me. But also,
so much for admitting.
But also, what was it?
And also classical music. I hope you're into that.
Oh, classical music.
All classical music.
Very here for that. We love different types of music for different mediums. You're good. I cut you off.
For the next one, we're gonna hire a composer, but for this one, we were.
Hold on. Why did my automod mark you as spam? That's bullshit. Hold on.
Because I put the Discord chat in.
Oh, that's why. You know what? You might as well actually. I wonder if you could, because I did post a going live link actually on my going live post on my Blue Sky. You could probably post it down there maybe, or just make your own post about it.
Down there.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it. No. Oops. Well, no, you're good. You're good. That's just auto mod. Well, you guys know where to go. Make sure that I actually managed to pin the links to both the Fall in Love Festival Steam page and then also to the Ghost of Alcantra. So if you guys like what you see when we start playing it together, then you can give us a couple downloads. But thank you guys so much for coming in and talking with me about your silly game. And I can't wait to get into it. I'm very excited. I'm feeling good vibes here.
we really appreciate you talking with us and for streaming it.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, of course. Because that's the thing I really love. I love hearing like the perspectives of like the creative minds behind different works, especially because like it feels so much more personal when you're able to like hear those perspectives of being like, oh yeah, well I like this about the game. Well, I enjoyed making this part or writing this part was exciting. Just hearing that from the people who make these games is not only just like really humbling and inspiring for people who are getting into these games, but it also gets more people invested into your work, you know?
Well, Nick will probably be in chat for at least some of the stream talking. He's built different. He's shameless because when I hear the streamers talk about say the things I've written, right? I get so embarrassed. I need to stick my head in the toilet. And
well,
I'll keep the stream please. But Nick will probably be providing commentary if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. And this is, and be sure, again, make sure that if you guys like what we're seeing here, be sure to go download the Ghost of Alcantra, and it's free. So please, there's no better price than free. Please go get it. We need more games from these two, please. And
thanks for the show. We appreciate that too.
yeah. Well, I'll see you two later. Thank you guys so much again.
Yep, thank you.
You want for having us.
Yeah. Good night. What a great pair. So actually going into this, we're gonna go ahead and load up the Ghost of Alcantra. And I'm glad that we did this interview before we play the actual game, because now I'm actually very hyped. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Boop. All right, let's go ahead and load this shit up. Don't do this to me. What do you mean fail start process? Don't do this to me. Okay, you know what? Let me reload Steam. This feels a little silly. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me right now. Let me go into my screen. Don't do this to me, please. I would very much appreciate it. Please, God. God, fuck. I have my big ol', like, I would say jug. It's kind of a jug. It's more so just like a really, really big cup. Let me see. There shouldn't be anything behind me. No, there shouldn't be. Yeah, you shouldn't be. Huh. Oh, that should not be happening. That is really weird. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah. Oh, let me see this. Let me see this. Oh, I have to restart it? Ugh. Are you sure, bro? Why do something bun? Oh, yeah, no, sure. This is really gonna be really fucking stupid. I think I'm gonna have to restart the entire fucking stream from scratch. I will be... Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Actually, help me, Steam. Help me, Steam, please. Let's see. Properties. What the fuck? Huh. Okay. Let me see. That. Okay. So we got that. Properties. Okay. Huh. Okay, so no. Nothing there. Do I really have to restart it then? That's kind of bullshit, do I? That shouldn't be. wait on that. Let's see. Okay. Low space. Is that what? It cannot be low space. Be so fucking for real with me right now. There cannot be low fucking space. No, be so serious. Okay, let's see. There can't be low storage already. That can't be the case, right? That'd be silly. Let's see. Yeah, bitch, you still got plenty of fucking space. What are you talking about? Well, I say plenty. There's a lot of space. You should not be having this issue, sir. That's a little silly. Okay. You know, maybe we do have to. Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll do that. We're gonna go ahead and try restarting the stream again, because I don't know why it's doing this. So we will temporarily be right back. It's gonna say stream end, but we'll be back. Okay? Okay. We'll be back. Woo! Whoa! Chat, I'm a genius! I figured it out! I figured it out! Let's fucking go, dude! I figured it out! Oh my god. Okay. We gotta get all this shit fucking rolling again. We gotta get these back pinned. We gotta fucking do all this other shit. Oh my god. We figured it out! Yay! Okay. And then pin that. Do that. Okay. We figured it out. I figured it out. I ended up just having to fucking, what was it? I ended up having to do it from the actual, like, Steam files, but it's fine because we have it now. This is totally not going to be fucking edited, like, later in the actual, what's it called? The Twitch VOD. This is totally not going to be fucking, edited there to make it look like I totally knew what I was doing. No, totally. Definitely not. Definitely not gonna do that. We're back. Had a oopsie poopsie, but we're back. Ooh. Hashtag #BSky. There we go. Okay. So yeah, but I'm in your Discord. Let's go! We got more people! Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and load up. I'm gonna put it in here now. Okay. Now that we have it. Jesus Christ. I do love the music, actually. Can we talk about that? This music's kind of gas. Okay. I think that's how we're going to do it. So this is the Ghost of Alcantra. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this game. To start off with this for a lineup, fantastic. So let's go ahead and start. Ooh. Dedicated to Nick, who helped me turn into... That's gonna make me cry already. That's so cute. No! Stop it! Are you fucking kidding me, you assholes? This is what's gonna make me emotional? Stop! Part 1, Setting Sun. Ugh! You had to get me fucking emotional right now. Ugh! June 6th, 1987. Oh, okay. Super Different Car Wizard. Oh, you did. That's my bad. Okay, here we go. I sometimes wonder how much the world would change if I saw it as someone else. Take Miss Williams over there. She manages to keep up a polite smile on her wrinkled old face as she nods along with Miss Johnson's babbling about how great her kids are. But in the gaps of their one-sided conversation, you can see Miss Williams' eyes betray the smile on her face as she looks past Miss Johnson to somewhere further away. Okay, but you don't have to know. I know. I'm just like, oh. Oh. Was there not sound for that one? Oh, I forgot. I can't hear most of this shit on my... I forgot about that. Anyway. Miss Williams' husband died a year ago after a long battle with an autoimmune disorder. The world of Miss Williams. Is it bright like a smile? Or gray like a vacant stare? Without her story, you'd never know. Then there's Farmer Todd, who is lecturing a couple of kids who were misbehaving. He's a typical grouchy type, never happy with how the world is, never happy about what people are doing. Despite that, if you pay careful attention, you can see Farmer Todd trying to suppress a smile. His wife and kids died in a traffic accident with a logging truck, and ever since, he's decided to do what he can to help guide others. The world of Farmer Todd. Is it the world of someone irritably chipping away at their lonely days? Or the world of someone determined to make the world a slightly better place? Caitlin banned me in chat. Yeah! Why did it ban you? What the fuck? What the hell? Yeah, why the fuck did it ban you? That's bullshit. Fuck you, Saribot. I love you, but fuck you. He's free! Chat, he's free! Free speech again, let's go! Oh my god, that was fucking funny. I was like, oh, I didn't even see it. That was silly. Okay. Each and every one of us, we're all a Miss Williams or a Father Todd, individuals with unique inner worlds. All of us have a story worth sharing. I bounded along the canal front walkway, adorned with festival stalls as the evening sunset began its retreat. Why was I having these types of thoughts? I guess it's because of the story this festival is based on. On the first weekend of every June, our small town of Alcantra, located in the northern tip of Michigan, holds a festival with the extremely original name, the Summer Festival. Once upon a time, Alcantra was a town called Connington, which was known for copper mining and flake fishing. Then a little over 100 years ago, the leader of this town, Alistair Thorne, proposed changing the town name to Alcantra in remembrance of his recently departed lover. Oh, that's so sweet! No! I cannot be getting emotional right now, dude. It's the emotional shit isn't even till like way later, bruh. The story goes that Alistair had been on the brink of death, and just as he was about to pass on into the afterlife, the ghost of his beloved Alcantra met him on the fringes between life and death and convinced him he needed to live. No! He was able to make a recovery, and afterwards, he decided to rename the town in honor of his wife and propose an annual festival in remembrance of her. To this day, we still celebrate the summer festival for every first weekend of June. Though what was once a celebration about cheesy sentiment like the endurance of love and the importance of connection has developed into a wonderful excuse to get drunk, light up explosives, and eat lots of cheap food. Not that the typical Midwesterner needed any excuse to do those things. Not sure if he mentions in an interview, the story takes place in a fictionalized version of our hometown. That's so cute! Again! I'm getting fucking emotional again. This is a thing that chat should know about me. I am a big crybaby. So if I see shit that is like purely that is like completely sentimental, I cry. I cry. I get emotional. I'm a little wah baby, you know? Maybe it's because I'm not allowed to drink yet, or that most of the food I eat is already pretty cheap. But I always think of this festival in relation to its romantic origins. While I doubt that I'll ever meet anyone who loves me enough to meet me in the purgatory to convince me to live, I do like the idea that new perspectives can open up the world in ways that would be impossible with just your own. I imagine that what Alcantra told Alistair was a story of her life, and it was that story that convinced him to live. We need other viewpoints, not just our own, to help us get through life. Very true. Very real in the grand scheme of things, especially in Big Unk 2025. Why do I say these things? As I was having these thoughts, I saw Miss Williams managing to flee from Miss Johnson's verbal barrage and decided I would put my sentimental feelings on hold to get some ice cream from the Johnson stall. Hey, Nick. Glad you could stop by. Walberton and Terrence not with you today? Yeah, just me today. Wartenburn's family's out fishing, and Terrence decided he's too cool to go to local festivals. Believes solitude is the way to go. Mr. Johnson chuckled in response. Well, tell you what, kid. Since I don't want you to feel lonely, I'll give you an extra cone. I rolled my eyes, but accepted the charity. Say, wasn't Mrs. Raddick supposed to be helping out with your stall? I feigned concern about the efficiency of their ice cream operation, but I was mostly concerned about the quality. Miss Raddick was a quiet woman who didn't talk much, but man, did she know desserts. I was a big fan of her bakery downtown, though I had no doubt she could work her miracles for an ice cream stall too. Miss Johnson huffed. Yeah, where is Marina? Very unlike her to bail. I'm gonna have to stop by this evening and give her a good scolding. She knows how much the town looks forward to her stall every year. Yeah, not like her at all. I hope she's alright. I thanked the Johnsons for the ice cream, struggled to pay with 2 cones in my hands, and left them grumbling about Miss Raddick's absence. The fireworks show was going to start soon, and I have my special spot to get to. Okay, this is cute so far. This is cute. My special fireworks spot was a little clearing at the bottom of a path heading towards the shore. I'm not really a loner, but I always watch the fireworks alone. Oh no, this story might literally kill you. No! Actually, oh yeah, it is covering it up. Okay, hold on. I can fix this. Chat, let me cook with the power of editing. By editing, I'm just moving it up a little bit. Yay! I did it! Let's go! This little excursion was my yearly excuse to find myself under the lights of a supposed centuries-long romance. I weaved my way through the crowd until I made it to the outskirts of the festival. I finished up my ice cream as nightfall began to settle in, though the calming ambiance of the emerging mood did little to quiet the racket behind me. I never understood fireworks as a group spectacle. Nothing like the cheering of crowds, the hollering of drunks, and the crying of children to kill the atmosphere. That's why I wanted to watch the fireworks on my special spot. Yeah, because kids are annoying. Can I give a hot take for a second? When I get married, I'm not letting these motherfuckers bring little kids to my wedding. No. It's crazy, they're rowdy, and I don't want to deal with that. Maybe I'll get more into it later, but anyway. As I was just about to head through the trail to get to my fireworks spot, I saw a girl sitting on the grass by the canal front. She wore a simple but elegant summer dress and sat with downright offensively good posture. But what caught my attention most was the expression on her face. She had a blank look with empty eyes. She was facing the canal, but taking in nothing. It looked like a gust of wind could take her far away from here. The closer I got, the more that I could sense there was a loneliness to her. Solitary fireworks viewing was my thing, but solitude is best when it's chosen, not when it's routine. I thought about the summer festival and what it meant to me, and decided it was worth the attempt to see if there was anything behind that empty expression. I cautiously headed over to her. She didn't look like anyone I knew, so she probably wasn't from Alcantra. Alcantra is a small town with about 5,000 people, and everyone knows each other. I would definitely recognize someone from a school. I guess she was visiting for the festival. Are you here to see the fireworks? She looked over startled, panicking at having been addressed. Her look then turned into a wary sort of glare. Oh, is it hydrate time? Is it hydrate time? Yippee! Yummy. I don't know why the sound isn't going off, but thank you, Hades. Hello. I began to regret my decision. Who voluntarily subjects themselves to small talk? After taking her time to glare at me, she answered, I am. And then said nothing else, leaving it up to me to be the conversationalist. She continued to look at me as if trying to figure out my character, which prevented me from throwing a, well, it was nice meeting you, see you later, and fleeing. I soldiered on. I'm Nick Fox. I'm guessing you're not from around here. She hesitated, then slowly nodded her head. Where are you from, then? None of your business. She spat that back at me quickly. A little taken aback, I regretted my soldiering on and thought she probably just wanted to be left alone. I began to start walking away when she spoke again. Sorry, there are secrets a girl has to keep to herself. Hey, you know what? That is so fair. Don't go telling strangers who you meet in public where you fucking live. Don't go telling people that. That's like fucking safety in the real world 101. Don't go doing that. Well, okay, that's fair. I'm cast self-destruction now! I've heard about the summer festival before, but I've never gone to actually attend. This was my first time getting to go. She seemed more willing to talk now. I thought I saw the faintest glimmer of a smile show up. I suspect it's because guys are easily swayed by smiles, even by the ghost of one. But I decided I could at least be a good host and recommend her a good viewing spot for the fireworks. Oh, the 20 now! Well, the fireworks show starts in a few minutes. There's a spot, the path there that has a great view. You're welcome to join me. She hesitated before slowly getting up. Sure. I nodded and headed towards the path. She walked behind me. Can I say she looks incredibly fucking pretty? I would be nervous asking this girl to fucking do anything with me. See a fireworks show? Are you fucking kidding me? I'd be a weenie. I'd be fumbling like Ghost of Happy Turtle, bro. I'd be fucking fumbling. I would become a general himbo for this woman. So you've got a name? Yes. I waited for her to tell me her name, but I guess she had that regal air about her. Maybe she wasn't used to dealing with us commoners and didn't throw her name around so casually. Yuki did such a good job with Alexandra's sprite. You could thank the author's sister for her outfit design. I love that. It's so fucking pretty. It's actually so fucking pretty. Like, the way the sprite looks, it's just gorgeous. Like, just in general, this art is gorgeous, and I love it so far. Oh, what's your name then? It's Alexandra. You have a last name? I asked because there was a very good chance I would know someone she's related to if she was visiting, given that everyone knows everybody around here. There was a brief silence as she thought about it. Who has to think about their name? Sorry, I can't tell you that. I sighed. Another one of those secrets you girls have to keep? Yes, but I also don't answer strange questions from guys I haven't met before. Also very fair. She was very guarded and short with her responses, but honestly, from the tone of her voice, I got the feeling that she wasn't upset with me. We exited the trail and the clearing emerged. I sat down where you could see the fireworks best. I decided to break the ice by introducing myself. Well, I'm Nick Fox. I'm a senior at Alcantra High. It's nice to meet you. She sat down a good distance away from me and gave me another wary glance. Tell me, do you often try to pick up strange girls at night? Well, at least she recognized that she was strange. I decided to jab back. No, I don't, and I'm guessing you're not used to being talked to. She gave a sad sort of smile that made me regret my little jab. No, I'm not used to being talked to. That made me regret my jab even more. Oh my god, you dick! Oh no! Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't worry about it. Silence descended between us while I tried to think of reassuring platitudes to give her while she sat calmly, with a dignified air. She may have been lonely, but she was used to it. The thought made me a little sad. Before I said anything, the fireworks then began. A dazzling and dizzying light show accompanied by distant cheers. Even with all the noise, the silence between Alexandra and I was much more striking. I wasn't paying much attention to the show, the novelty of the rest of the experience being much more interesting. I glanced over at her and saw that her expression had changed a little. Not by a lot, though. I guess not even the splendor of explosives could completely wipe away whatever melancholic feelings she might have felt. I should eat this. Eat it! But this time, that empty look was accompanied by the hopeful glimmer of a smile. Despite having given up my solitary tradition, it was probably worth it to share a part of my world with her. When the show ended, I probably wouldn't see her again. Mildly hopeless as I am, I wanted the sentiment of the festival to ring true. After a moment of time that felt like it lasted both mere seconds and an eternity, the fireworks were over. All we were left with was the afterglow of a celebration and the growing glow of the stars above. So, you enjoy the show? If you're visiting, there's not a lot to do here, but at the very least, the people here know gunpowder. She got up and dusted off her dress. I did. It was a great show. She hesitated, then continued on, speaking very hurriedly, like she thought she might not get the opportunity to do so later. I've been in a position where I don't get to interact with people very often, especially people my age, so I'm sorry if I was a little awkward. I don't have many friends. I have everything I need and very little of what I actually want. But recently, something good happened to me, and I got the opportunity to come here. I had heard of the summer festival, and I love the story of the Sound of Alcantra. As for hobbies, I read lots of novels of all types, but I love mysteries and romances the most. I can't tell you my last name, my situation, or where I'm from, but at the very least I can tell you that I'm very glad you invited me to see the fireworks with you. She flashed me a bright smile. While the lonely look sort of suited her, I thought this one suited her more. Oh. Anyway, I have to go now. My, caretakers will be waiting for me. Caretakers? I guess she wasn't staying with family while she was visiting. She gave me a small wave. Bye, Nick. I waved back. See you later, Alexandra. She headed back towards the trail. The silence left in her wake for a bit and then followed suit. On the way home, I became reflective again, thinking of the world she lived in and what it was like. Yummy. Thinking about that, I began to hope I might see her again. Endless Night. I love these titles. May 30th. That's so... Oh my god, what the fuck? What just happened? What the hell? Oh. What? I need to clear my throat. I need to be dramatic. Perhaps I was looking for a place to die. I certainly didn't make an effort to get out of the way of the motorcyclist. I didn't know if it was because I couldn't or because I didn't want to. Oh, waiter, more dramatics, please. I had been waking up to a slope on the north side of town. It was nighttime, and the cold air betrayed the beginning of the warm season we were supposed to be in. As I neared the top of the slope, I heard the shrill cry of an engine. By the time I looked up, the motorcyclist had already lost control, going down the turn to the top of the slope. Then in the next moment, it was barreling towards me. I barely had time to register the pain. Oh, I never gonna stop loving you, bitch. Thank you for the subscription so much. Oh my god. Back into dramatics. Scene. I barely had time to register the pain before I was flat on my back, gasping for breath. I turned my head back to see the motorcyclist. They had hit a tree and would have been dead on impact. I knew I would soon join them. We're already dead? I returned to my hometown of Alcantra after many years. I don't know why I came back. I hated the place. I had bad memories from my previous time here. The streets, the water, the air, all of it was permeated with my guilt and regret. No matter where I looked, what I did, or who I talked to, I couldn't get away from those feelings. I tried to escape, but it was futile. Now, no one can run away from themselves. This wasn't such a bad place to die. It was quiet and peaceful, and the top of the slope gave me a great view of the stars. I used to love looking at the stars. They shined so brightly for me before. Looking at them now, they barely shone at all. It's funny, looking at the stars now, they seem farther away than ever, even though I was about to join them. I reached out my hand to try and grasp a star. Now the very top of the screen is cut off. No! Wait, hold on. There we go. This screen. No! Okay. Should be adjusted. Should be adjusted. Should be. Keyword should. You can't see that, right? Okay, cool. God damn. Okay, we're good. I'm a professional. Okay? I'm a professional. Of course, my hand never came close. I let my hand fall back down to the ground. I wasn't close to the sky, the stars, or to her. Now, finally, I might be able to see her again. My evanescent, but ever-present ghost. I'll be with you soon. Let's dance among the stars, you and I. Did Alexandra die? Are you fucking serious? Are we saying that right now? Is she dead? Smiling, I closed my eyes. And I faded. I was fading, but getting closer to a bright light. It was far too bright. This sort of radiance, this sort of warmth, I didn't deserve it. I could hear a woman's voice beckoning me to come. Begging you to come. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, no more penis jokes. That we need to move on. I had to make the joke. Someone had to. Oh, I'm not falling for that. I'm not stupid enough to go towards the light. Not one as beautiful as that. The woman was pleading, begging for me to join her. I saw a glimpse of what lay beyond that light. It was wonderful and happy. It was too good to be true. Sorry, I'm looking to be reunited with a ghost, but you can't be the one I'm looking for. The ghost I'm looking for wouldn't beckon me to a wondrous place like this. I turned away from the light. There was no place for me there. If that was heaven, that's not what I deserve. I'm wretched, despicable, and I deserve punishment. Ignoring the pleading, crying, and begging from the woman's voice behind me, I faded away again. And faded. This time I faced towards a deep darkness. Yes, this is where I belong. Once again, I heard a woman's voice. This time, the voice simmered with scorn. The words were filled with malice. The tones were dripping with venom. Yes, you might be the ghost I'm looking for. I headed to that darkness and to her voice. It was a voice filled with so much hatred, but it was enticing and enrapturing to me. This is where I belong. This is where it would end for me. I faded away, and faded, and faded, and faded, and faded away. Damn, we're dead! We're dead for real! I woke to the irritating beeping of a vital signs monitor. With some effort, I managed to sit up in my bed. I glanced around the room. I figured out quickly that I was in a hospital. I'm guessing my injury was pretty bad. My arms and legs seemed to work fine, though I was hooked up to several machines. I was alone in the room, with nothing but the sterility of the hospital atmosphere to keep me company. It wasn't pleasant company, and I wanted to find a button that would summon medical staff over, but I figured it'd be a bad idea to just start pressing buttons. I'd wait for the return of a nurse or doctor. I laid back down and reflected on my current situation. I didn't seem to be dying. My body worked, my mind worked, but I was strangely empty. Yes, that's the word to describe it. Empty. There was nothing in me, but only the lingering feelings of guilt and sorrow. I didn't know why I felt guilty. I didn't know why I felt sad. I tried to think about my situation. Obviously, I must have had some people in my life who would be concerned about me. They must be around somewhere. I tried to think of those people, who those people would be. Are they any? I tried to remember friends, but I couldn't remember any. Lovers? I must have had some, but I couldn't remember any. I must have had some. Perhaps I was a hermit and didn't associate with others. Okay, then let's think about me. 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 What's my name? I don't know. What's my age? I don't know. Where am I from? I don't know. What did I do? I don't know. What happened to me? People know these things about themselves. Why can't I answer those questions? Obviously, my brain is working, but I guess it's not working as well as it should. I started to panic. I realized why I felt so empty. Without memories, there was no me. I was only an outer shell with nothing inside. My breathing quickened, and I started grasping at the machines bound to me. I needed to get out of here. Anywhere but here. It must be the hospital. I'm not responding well to whatever happened to me. I need to change the scenery, maybe some fresh air. That might help jog my memory. Sensing my panic, a chubby man with a graying head of hair to match a graying beard came in and, seeing my tangled frenzy with the nearby machines, rushed over. Okay, now we gotta fix this again. Hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Hello, Candy. I'm playing up the dramatics, and I'm very much here for it, for me. I also have Chimkin Nugget. Stop. Calm down. You're alright. Let me explain the situation. You'll be alright. Saying that wasn't going to calm me down, but I was weaker than I thought because he easily took my hands off the devices and gently laid me down on the bed. It struck me that I was being stupid. Of course the doctor would have to know something about me and we could go from there. Rationality prevailing, I calmed down. While the doctor took long, deep breaths and patted at some sweat on his forehead with a handkerchief, I asked him, "So, what's wrong with me?" The doctor stopped mid-sweat pat to look at me. He slowly put the handkerchief away and then did his best to rearrange his face into a calm expression. "Well, no time for pleasantries, I guess, but regardless, it's good to see you awake. I better start from the beginning and then we can figure out your condition. You've been unconscious in the hospital for a week. You were hit by a motorcycle and the impact caused quite a bit of damage. It's a miracle you're alive as well as you are. None of your injuries are life-threatening. Unfortunately, you also had some spinal and head damage. The damage to your head was particularly nasty." A head injury? My stomach began to drop in realization. "Now then, you asked if there was something wrong with you. Physically, you took some damage, but nothing to warrant anything as dramatic as saying there's something wrong with you. Please, tell me how you're feeling, and I'll try to illuminate as much as I can." I gave it to him bluntly. "I can't remember anything." The doctor frowned at that. "Well, obviously that's not completely true. You definitely remember some things, but the possibility of memory loss was something we were worried about given the potential trauma of the injury. Let's work out what you can and cannot remember. Can you remember who you are?" I shook my head. "Not even your name?" I shook my head again. "Then you can't remember any family or friends?" I shook my head a third time. Damn. We became Dory, dude. Do you have any strong recollections? Like particularly strong associations of joy or sorrow? Even if you can't remember the details. I thought about it. Now that you mention it, I did feel deep pangs of guilt and sorrow somewhere within me. I told the doctor as much. Okay, let's turn to that in a bit. You remember how to talk, and so you must remember a lot of other things. It's clear that you remember how, And I know this is a vague description, how things work. Like, you'll know how math works, so your cognitive abilities are still working. Let's try a different route. Do you remember how apples taste? Yeah, actually, I do. I know what they taste like. Interesting. We played a game with 20 questions. My initial self-diagnosis... No! My initial self-diagnosis was pretty off. I remembered plenty of things. In fact, it seemed like I remembered most things. I remember that the Cowboys won the 1996 Super Bowl, that Bill Clinton was the president, and things like that. The only things I couldn't remember were anything to do with me. And so far, I seem to be making new memories just fine. Well, this is highly unusual. Post-traumatic amnesia isn't particularly common, but most amnesiacs experience anterograde amnesia. Ugh. I know how to say words. That is, they can't make new memories. We'll monitor the situation, but it looks like you have a highly unusual case of retrograde amnesia. That's when you can't remember previously stored memories, and even those cases usually just involve forgetting relatively recent memories, not long-term ingrained ones. Even more so to have such a highly specific type of retrograde amnesia where only certain types of memories are affected. I've never heard of it happening. I suspect that in time you'll recover your memories. I suspect that the specificity of your amnesia is more likely to lie with your psychological condition rather than your physical. You mentioned strong remnant feelings of guilt and sorrow. It's likely that those feelings are the root cause of your current condition. The accident with the motorcyclist was merely a catalyst that allowed this to happen. It seemed far-fetched, but I decided to trust the doctor. It was a lot to take in, but it was reassuring that he thought I could get my memories back. Then I realized we were forgetting something obvious. Of course we could figure out who it was. There had to be someone in the area who knew me. I brought this up to the doctor, but his face darkened. We'll send notifications to the police about this and reports will be filed, but no one has come forward regarding you. We're in Alcantra, a small town in northern Michigan. Were we reborn then? Oh. Interesting. I don't know, man. Perhaps it's an area you're not from, so identification from a local who knows you might not be possible. If that's the case, then it might take some time for the police to track down where you're from. Alcantra, the name sounded so familiar. I was positive that I knew the area. No, it was more than I knew about the area. Alcantra must be associated with those lingering feelings of regret and sadness I had. It must have been a part of me, which made it strange that no one had come forward to identify me. I was hit by a motorcyclist, meaning I was out walking. Surely I had some form of ID on me. The doctor's face became even more glum. Well, you had a wallet. Perfect. There's no way my driver's license wasn't in there, unless I didn't have one. But there was no ID in it. Great. I don't remember who I am, and... Blah, blah, blah. Damn it! Hold on. Oh, wait, did I go back? Yeah, that was not... Oh, I did. Great. I don't remember who I am, and apparently who I was a loser who couldn't drive. Actually, there is someone who wants to talk to you about that. You have good reason to think your wallet was tampered with. You mean they stole the money? No, the money's still in there. You still have your $13.47. The tampering was more malicious than that. The doctor gave a big sigh. Honestly, I think you need more time to process all of this, but the person who wants to meet you is quite insistent and it's urgent she meets with you as soon as possible. She's going to be sorely disappointed about your condition. Oh my god, wait. Is it Alexandra? Is Alexandra meeting us? Oh my god. Wife material? His glum face became even glummer. I hope he had enough saved for retirement. He probably deserved it. Frankly, the matter is probably is urgent. Are you okay with seeing her? I am. Okay, I'll update her about your condition and let her in to see you. The doctor got up and walked out the door, leaving me to stew in anticipation. If skull in your mouth, the text box will rewind. Oh, that's what it was. I must have figured that out on accident. I was like, what the fuck was that? But that makes sense. At this point, I was more curious than nervous. About 10 minutes later, a woman walked in. Hold on. I'm gonna take a bite. Oh! Hey! She marched in like she owned the place. Glancing at me before taking out a cigarette and putting it in her mouth. Got on her lighter, looked at me again, probably reflecting on the legality of smoking in hospitals, and then lit the cigarette anyway. The doctor didn't come in with her, which I was mildly alarmed by, given her lack of concern for this patient. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was something familiar about this detective. Maybe it was the mannerisms. They reminded me of the memories I felt I might have had. After taking a drag on her cigarette, she acknowledged me with, "So, pretty rough spot you're in, huh?" Before I could give her a response, she continued, "I'm Detective Scarlet Storm, work for the Alcantra police. I tried to get a cool code name like Red Thunder, but they turned me down, so Detective Storm it is." She then pulled up a chair, sat it down, and leaned in towards me with an unhinged gleam in her eye. She felt more like a hunter than a detective. I was a patient now, but I'd be prey soon enough. "You know about my current condition, then?" "Sure do. Crazy stuff. A little too crazy for a small place like this." She tilted her head and glared at me like my amnesia ticked her off personally. "Yes? I may be a storm, but I know the importance of order. Some things gotta be done right. Can't have a conversation without a proper introduction. Now, I know you don't remember your name, so we'll have to come up with a temporary name for you." I agreed it was probably going to be awkward to go around nameless in the near future. I nodded. "Okay then, let's come up with a name. How about something simple like John?" Dumbest thing I've heard. Yeah, John's kind of a stupid fucking name. John's kind of a dumb name. But funny. But a funny name regardless. "You don't look like a John at all." What does a John look like anyway? I realized I had no idea what I looked like since there weren't any mirrors here and I didn't remember my appearance. "Okay, not John then. What do I look like then if we're using appearances to decide my name? And while we're at it, how old do I look?" You look like you were dumped by your girlfriend after 10 years of going steady, but not committing to tying the knot, cried your eyes out, didn't get cleaned up afterwards, then went out and got hit by a car. Or a motorcycle in your case." She laughed at my shocked look and then continued. "You're a little over 6 foot with a medium muscular build. You got short brown hair and some weird stubble thing going on." Okay, I love stubble. Did I say that? I love stubble. "And you have some sad ass eyes. Not great at guessing these sort of things, but I'm guessing you're in your early 30s. Damn! Really?" No, stop. Stop. This is literally us. Stop it. I'm not doing fucking Oncelercest on a fucking stream, okay? We're not doing that. Once I got over the shock of her description, I vowed to take a shower and look in a mirror. But that could wait. I wanted to hear what this case was all about, and for that to happen, I needed a name. "So it looks like I've seen better days, I guess." Remember, the name should be unique, not some John. I don't know what she had against the Johns in her life. I took some time to think about my name while Detective Storm tapped her foot impatiently. "How about something like Victor?" "Victor? What does Victor have to do with 6 foot, bum?" I don't know. Something about the letter V stirs up strong emotions in me. Like I have some long negative association with it. And with how I'm currently feeling, negative is the way to go. She gave me a long look before rolling her eyes. "Okay, Victor it is. Let's get down to business then, Victor. As the doctor let you know, your wallet is very interesting. There's no ID in your wallet. Instead, in the little fold where the driver's license typically would be, there was a piece of paper with some words written on them. Words, funny enough, that the wallet found its way from the medical folks all the way to me." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small rectangular piece of paper. She held it out towards me. "You think you can handle it?" "Of course I can. I found out I'm an amnesiac today. I can handle anything. I grabbed the note. On the paper, in bright red letters, this was written. Her blood is on your hands. Are we being framed? Oh, hell no. I did not get hit by a motorcycle to get framed for murder. Bitch. Hey, who wrote this? Who wrote this? I'm about to kick ass. I stared at the note. It stared at it. It stared at it, and then remembered what I remembered. That only part of my memories that remained was a lingering feeling of sadness and guilt. We better not have killed Alexandra. We better not have, or I'm gonna get very upset. I didn't know who her was. I didn't know what I had done to her. But the message on the note felt right. The note was startling, not shocking. This note was proof that there was an I that had existed. Now I had to deal with this. Did I want to know what that was? The doctor said that my condition was probably psychological. Perhaps there were some things better left forgotten. I gave the note back to Detective Storm, who was carefully scrutinizing me, looking for any hint of a reaction. It must have been pretty pathetic to do something bad enough that I felt a need to try and forget what I've done. So, there was a murder? She pulled out another cigarette before answering. There was. Brutal one. All I could do was smile at the ridiculousness of it all. I might be the first amnesiac to be a suspect for a murder. Detective Storm must have realized what I was thinking. Oh, don't worry about being a suspect. There's no way you committed the murder. I tilted my head at her questioningly. The murder was hours ago. Your alibi is airtight. I already had the note before the murder was committed. However, you must understand that this is all pretty suspicious. Even if you're not the murderer, we've got to consider that you were involved in all this somehow. I nodded. That's understandable. There's a lot of possibilities to consider. One, someone who discovered your body didn't like you and decided to pull an elaborate prank. Two, this could be in reference to a past event not related to the murder case I'm currently investigating. Third, it could be a message in relation to the murderer. And lastly, it might have been a message you left for yourself. Now, there's still plenty I'd like to know about the person who left you this message. As for why they decided to replace your ID with that note, I have no idea. And, well, if this was you, I'm interested in why you left yourself that note. It really was bizarre. The scenarios in which someone left me the note seem so implausible. Why would they do that? What purpose would leaving the note serve given that I had just been hit by a motorcycle? And if I left that note for myself, it begged the question of what I had done and whose blood was on my hands. Perhaps the note was supposed to be a reminder of my guilt, but even so, it was a strange thing to do. Your unfortunate condition has put quite a damper on the potential role you might have served in helping me with the investigation. It's not often we get murderers around here, and any lead would have helped us. She leaned towards me, and I once again caught that unhinged glimmer. Even so, I'd like your help with the case. As such, I've asked the doctor if it would be alright if you were to come along and stay with me for the duration of the investigation. I probably have thousands of broken bones, woman. I don't think I'm prepared for a criminal investigation, of which I am one of the prime suspects. But I'll go with you, because I think you're pretty. From what I hear, you don't have anywhere to go anyway. Until some friends or family come to bail you out from dealing with a hottie like me, I'd appreciate your cooperation. Okay, she knows she's that bitch. No, she knows she's that bitch. Like, oh my god. Yep. We're going. We're going. Hey, Doc, I'll see you later. Mommy's taking me to go get Burger King. Mommy's taking me to go get Wendy's. I gotta go. She gave me a wicked smile, like she made a deal that I couldn't refuse. Something about that smile seemed so familiar, even though it wasn't possible that I had known her. That made me a little hesitant. Still, I didn't want to turn down her offer for the sake of getting my memories back more than anything. I owed it, not to myself, but to the woman whose blood is on my hands. No, because who the fuck did we kill? And let's look on the bright side. Staying with a detective would be staying cooped in a hospital, going crazy from not remembering things. Who am I? Well, that's easy. I'm an amnesiac, potentially involved in a murder case. Who was I? I could have been a murderer. I could have been an accomplice to the murder. Probably. I could have just been an idiot who got caught up in a murder. Maybe I was just a nobody. I could have been anyone and done anything. Who will I be? That was the real question. Storm once again proving why she's the fan favorite. Dude, she's mommy material! Dude, she's mommy! I mean, look at her. She likes me. Chat, she likes me. My mom says I'm cool, and by mom, I mean Storm. Storm mommy says I'm cool. I got the feeling that once I remembered who I was, that who I was would determine who I would be. Okay, that tripped me up for a minute. That's my own fault though. I can't read. Having made up my mind, I nodded towards Detective Storm. I'm getting some pita chips while live on stream because I am a fat fuck and I love pita chips, okay? It would be my pleasure, Detective Storm. I look forward to working with you. That sounds way too official. Dial that shit back. You're scaring the huzz away. She nodded back. Should warn you though, might be a spooky case. What do you mean? Many of the local residents think there's a supernatural element at work. Oh, like there's a fucking curse on me, bitch? Oh. Hey. Don't worry, mommy. I am la exorcista. I'm la exorcista way. I got this, okay? I'm good. They're saying these murders are being done for the Ghost of Alcantra. For the fucking wife? For fucking Alcantra herself? Place Alcantra? Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, nah. Oh, cute bed. June 7th, 1987. Okay. This had to be some time ago. Oh, god damn it. Do I have to move it, like, around again? Hold on. I'm coming back to my desk. I woke up at a bright and early noon 30 the day after the festival. Oh, this is Nick again. I had a groggy staring contest with my ceiling, glanced around my messy room that needed to be cleaned, and headed down to eat breakfast. Or brunch. Whatever meal my mother would sarcastically give. Yeah, okay, I need to move it. Hold on, I need to move it again. There we go. All better. All better. I trudged down the stairs to the kitchen, but stopped once I heard whispering. My mom and dad were chatting with Uncle Kyle around our dining table, but rather than a boisterous wall of noise, I expected the arrival of a relative to cause the trio spoke in hushed tones. Oh, hell no. They're fucking shit-talking me. They're gonna be like, well, look who came out of their room. Like, shut up. Shut up, Mom. They obviously didn't want me to hear what they were talking about. Yeah, they're talking shit. I'm telling you, dude. They're talking mad shit. Something was up. Uncle Kyle was a detective, and he wouldn't show up unannounced unless something had happened. Knowing they would shut up if I joined them at the table, I crept at the bottom of the stairs to eavesdrop. Oh, hell no. Oh! These are our parents? Okay. I'm trying to figure out where we... Okay, the dark hair jeans make sense. Look at our dad. Was it that bad, Kyle? I could see everyone from where I was hiding. Uncle Kyle just nodded glumly and looked into his coffee mug like it contained a dead dog inside it. Uncle Kyle is my mom's brother. All three of them went to Alcantra. My parents stuck around the area like many people growing up around here do, but Uncle Kyle, bleh, took the more exciting route and left for the big city. Both of my parents work as school teachers, but when something exciting happens, a state detective is called in to investigate, and Uncle Kyle has shown up several times over the years. His first case was dealing with a serial sock stealer. Oh! Sock mention! But a murder in Alcantra? This must be a first for him. Yeah, it was a nasty piece of work. Never seen a murder like it. The body was cut into pieces. Each limb was severed from the main body, then cut into several more pieces. They were placed in various locations in the house. Oh, hell no, dude! Fuck that! The head was taken off and placed in front of the door so it'd be the first thing you'd see when you entered the house. The main torso had a litany of stab wounds. Tell you what, I've been doing this for a while now, and none of the murders in the city I've worked on were this bad. Nearly threw up looking at the blood all over the place. Miss Johnson is downright traumatized. I don't blame her. Miss Johnson? The ice cream stall lady? If she's traumatized, she must have been the one to discover the body or what was left of it. And then if she discovered the body, who was murdered? My question was answered immediately. Poor Marina. I can't believe someone would do that to her. Everyone liked her. Marina. That must mean Marina Radek, the lady who was supposed to help out at the ice cream stall yesterday. Well, that's why she didn't show up. I guess Miss Johnson discovered the body while going to check up on her. No, dude! No! So, fun fact on the designs. Nick's dad is based on my engineer skin from Deep Rock Galactic. You're familiar with that game. Uncle Kyle's based on Dojima for Persona 4. Okay. Deep Rock Galactic, I don't know. Persona 4 I'm slightly familiar with, but I only know Joker. And the only reason I know Joker is because he's in Smash. Wasn't she supposed to be at the Johnson stall last night? So the murder happened later that night then? No, she never showed up to the summer festival. She was killed in the afternoon. Joker's Persona 5. Okay, well, it's in the timeline. It's in the game timeline, kind of, sort of. She was killed in the afternoon. Oh. Killer was bold to do it during the day. Must have been banking on everyone in the neighborhood being at the festival. It was bad luck there were no witnesses. No signs of a break-in either. All the doors were locked except the front door, and the lock didn't show any signs of being tampered with. It's likely that Marina knew the person who killed her and she let them in herself. Or, hear me out, because that is a possibility. I also like to think that, well, you know what? It might be too early for theories, actually. I don't know. Because if there's a Mrs., surely there's a Mr., right? Surely there's a Mr. Radek. Right? I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just going to keep going. The festival starts at 10 a.m. and is in full swing by the afternoon. Given how big a deal the festival is, the whole town shows up for it. If the murder was later in the afternoon or early in the evening, there was a good chance the majority of the neighborhood would be at the festival. Who would she know that would do such a thing? Uncle Kyle just shrugged. Don't know, but whoever they are, they must really hate her. My father leaned in expectantly. So, Kyle, any leads or clues then? Oh my god! Wait! Okay, no, it's not. Okay, it's not him. It's not gonna be fucking, what's her name? Like, the lady at the ice cream stand, it's not gonna be her husband. I don't think he hated her. He was kind of mildly annoyed. Results there, couldn't be him. It also doesn't make sense, but that's fucking crazy. Anyway, nothing obvious. No witnesses, nothing left at the scene besides the body. Right now, we're looking into people acquainted with her that might have a motive. Mrs. Radek was pretty well liked, so there can't be that many people with a big enough grudge to do something like this. We'll start with the usual. Family members, past history, lovers, colleagues, stuff like that. Suspects? Just a few. Delilah Loving-Smith of the Classy Jack had a very public fight with her a few days ago. Professor Kashak clearly had a thing for her that never worked out for him. Earl Johnson had an affair with Marina's ex-husband. Ex-husband. And of course, there's the Thorns. She used to work for them. Uncle Kyle sighed at his coffee. A been here since last night. Haven't slept a wink since I got the call. Guessing it won't be the only sleepless night. Why did I become a detective? I don't fucking know. That was a fairly alarming thing for the detective on the case to say, but my parents didn't seem to care. What was she arguing about with Delilah? The new tourism proposal. Of course, anything to do with a new proposal puts the Thorne family under suspicion. The family is currently our #1 suspect. Really? Okay. Though I can't imagine that would make your investigation easy. You got that right. Uncle Kyle gave another big sigh as he looked he'd be happy to drown himself in his coffee. He really loves coffee, and I love that about him. He kind of looks like a jelf. I kind of like that shit. Love it. This will be a pain. The Thorns reside in a mansion in the southwest part of town on a hill that overlooks the business district. To call them influential around here would be an understatement. They are Alcantra, quite literally. They're the descendants of Alistair Thorne, the past leader who changed the town name to Alcantra. They originally gained influence from mining and commodizing the copper found in the north of Alcantra. While the copper mines haven't been operational for a long time, they incorporated the fishing and logging the area offered into their business endeavors and remained the financial focus of Alcantra. To speak of money in Alcantra is to speak of the Thorne family. Given how much money they have, you can imagine how much power they have. They ran this town shortly after it was founded in the 50s, and they run it now. I say they, but the Thorne family only consists of 2 people and the staff that work for them. The Thorns themselves consist of Elgar Thorne, who has to be 1 trillion years old, and his son Vlad. Yenna Thorne, the wife of Elgar, died 18 years ago. Elgar is an old stick that nobody likes, which is just as well because nobody sees him anymore. He keeps himself cooped up in their mansion. Vlad is the public... Vlad or Vlad? I like Vlad. Vlad is the public face of the family, and he's a funny, friendly, and charismatic dude. Vlad and Elgar actually disagree on a lot of stuff, including the recent tourism proposal, which is Elgar's idea. Alcantra is going through a sort of civil war, or as close to a civil war as a town of 5,000 could get. I guess Elgar decided that the affluence of the family could always be improved, so he proposed a tourism group meant to promote the locales of Alcantra. Alcantra is separated from a nearby town called Hamatra by a canal, and the lift bridge that crosses that canal has quite the reputation. Of course, most of the locals enjoy utilizing the canal, and it becoming a tourist destination would put a major damper on local recreational activities. That does make sense. I can imagine some bitterness there. Maybe. Love the world building, by the way. And I love the lore. Oh, excuse me. It's not a popular area amongst a lot of folk, though others could think it could be a great way to bring people of Alcantra to Alcantra given our dwindling population. It's that bad. Vlad had voiced his dissent towards the idea, which makes the Thorne family itself split on the issue. Interesting. Why would the Thorns want to get rid of Marina? Marina wasn't involved with the tourism proposal. Don't be naive, honey. You can't trust that family. She worked for them in the past, and you just know they have skeletons in their closet. I bet they killed her just to shut her up about something that would make the proposal go awry. Yeah? I mean, I could see that. Honestly, I could see that being the case, to be honest. Now, doubt Vlad and Elgar are working together. If Vlad voices his dissent, it makes the Thorne family seem not so bad as a whole. And Vlad will take over soon anyway, so it's best if he looks good to the locals. Cordelia's probably right. We don't know why they'd want to kill Marina, but we have to be suspicious. If it was a Thorne family, it probably wouldn't be Elgar or Vlad who did the actual killing. Well, there's no other fucking family members, so who the fuck else is there? They have plenty of connections and enough money to convince other people to do the dirty work. Marina knew plenty of people, and I'm sure some of those people could be bought, even for a murder. Trying to find those trails is where we'll start. Of course, getting the Thorns to cooperate is not going to be a whole lot of fun. Uncle Kyle gave a dismissive yawn and then made to get up from his seat. That was my cue. I quietly crept back up the stairs and then stopped down as loudly as I could to conceal my eavesdropping. When I reached the kitchen, the adults were all trying to pretend like they hadn't been discussing a murder. I thought I could hear Uncle Kyle talking, so I rushed down. So what happened? Oh, we're just having a lively discussion about a wonderful summer day. So Uncle Kyle came all this way to talk about the weather. He sure did. He wanted to be a meteorologist as a kid. Uncle Kyle and my dad looked at my mom like she was an idiot, which she sometimes was. My God. I did not want to be a meteorologist. My dad looked kind of hurt. I'm the one who wanted to be a meteorologist. Really? You think I'd remember that? Right, you think you would. Baby, if we ever end up being like this, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I guess I've got more important things to remember. More important than your husband's dreams? Oh, no! Uncle Kyle ignored my parents and did his best to put on a serious face, which just made him look even more tired than usual. And he was always tired. Nick, I'm sorry to have to say this, but there was a murder yesterday. Marina Radek was the one who was killed. I'm investigating the case currently. I did my best to put on a shocked face. Really? A murder in Alcantra? Yeah, but don't worry. We'll get it figured out. So, any investigation details you could tell me? No, because this is me. I'm Chismosa. This is so me. I'm like, hey, who the fuck was it? Hey, details. Gimme. Couldn't hurt to try. Maybe he was feeling talkative. Perhaps I could learn some more than what I had learned from eavesdropping. Absolutely not, Nicholas Fox. But, Mom! Your mother is right. Uncle Kyle smiled a bit. Sorry, Nick. Gotta keep quiet on this for now. He gave a big yawn. Well, I'm gonna try to get some sleep while I can. I've got a long couple of weeks ahead of me trying to convince the powerful family to admit to their wrongdoing. Supposed wrongdoing! We don't know if it's them. Supposed. He went upstairs to get his well-deserved rest. My mother gave me my brunch bacon, which I inhaled. I wondered how the rest of this town was reacting to the news. It's hard to imagine routine life here being disturbed by anything. But if something could do it, it'd be murder. My dad cleared his throat. Nick, your mother and I discussed it earlier, and we decided it's okay for you to hang out in town like you normally do. That said, we'd like you to be a little cautious out there. Honestly, your dad is such a worrywart. Can't hide in our houses. Best we can do is just keep on living. What are you guys gonna do today then? I'll probably go see Warburton and Terrence. My mom made a face at that. Them again? You see them nearly every day. Why don't you try hanging out with Jenny? Jenny's our neighbor and a longtime friend of mine. I basically never see her anymore because basketball has consumed her life. She has basketball, Mom. Or what about that girl you dated a while back? What was her name again? Cordelia. Jennifer was 3 years ago. We broke up a long time ago, Mom. We dated for 3 weeks. But she was such a nice girl. She cheated on me. Only once. Because I broke up with her. I shook my head in exasperation. Any reason it's gotta be girls, Mom? She wants grandchildren. I want grandchildren. Honey, he's 17. So, 3 years of dating and then marriage, then 3 kids. He needs to get moving. Howard Fox, you and I will soon be ancient history, and I'll have nothing to show for it because we're both school teachers and don't make any money. We need Nick to make something of his life and get a family and kids. I told you should have finished the masters. And I should have dated the engineer in our class. You mean Tim? Oh, he's in jail now, didn't you hear? My mom let out a dramatic gasp. No shit! For real? I rolled my eyes, but I could do worse for parents. I finished up my food, got ready, and headed out to see if Walburn and Terrence were willing to hang out. I waved goodbye and let them gossip about Tim the engineer. Neither Walburn nor Terrence live particularly close to me, but that's not a particularly big deal in Alcantra. On bike, it takes about half an hour to get from one end of the town to another. I wonder when we'll see Alexandra again. That's called foreshadowing. Although I probably don't know if we're going to see her. We have a little urban area with a Walmart and stuff towards the south part of town and a classy, old-school downtown area more towards the northeast. But the pride of Alcantra is our canal port past the downtown area. Walburn and Terrence both live as neighbors in the middle of town. I live pretty close to the business district at the southern end of town. So I passed quite a few people along the way. It seemed like it was business as usual. I guess people felt like my mom did. Shouldn't people be a little more disturbed about a murder happening here? I mean, probably, but also, like, I don't think they want to, like, not continue doing the same shit that they always do. I don't know, dude. It turned out not everyone was calm. The first thing out of Walburn's mouth when I showed up at his house was this. Dude, holy shit! Did you hear? Never mind, obviously you heard. Mr. Rage must be staying with you. Do you have any details? This is wild, man. I did know some details, but I probably shouldn't tell Walburn. There was no doubt he'd spill everything I told him to everyone he knows, and I didn't want to get Uncle Kyle in trouble. Sorry, man. Don't know anything besides Marina Raddick being murdered. Damn, figured you'd say that, but I had to ask. Asked my dad about it, said in his 30 years living in Alcantra, he'd never heard of anything like this happening. Walburn is the king. We stand for him in his house. He is so silly. He already reminds me of that kid from Monster House. Fucking 30 seconds on the clock. I'm playing basketball. It's such an obscure reference, but he gives me those vibes. We talked about the incident some. Walburn must have been really rattled. We talk about pretty much everything, from the weather to relationships to the fragility of human existence, but with Walburn, it usually always comes back around to sports. He loves sports. Unfortunately, the universe didn't love him as much as he loves sports. He's around 5'4" and quite chubby, but he does the best with what he's got. I've been thinking about Mrs. Raddick. I'm pretty sure she has a daughter in the area. She's been in Alcantra a long time, though she and her husband split some years back and he lives somewhere else now. But I think her name was Alicia. Yeah, that's the daughter's name. I think she's still in the area. I hope she's doing okay. Someone should go pay her a visit, make sure she's safe, and let her know we're all here for her. He gave me a tap on the shoulder. I know that brain of yours ain't up for detective work, but you let Mr. Rage know that he should keep an eye out on Alicia. Might be a vendetta against the family. Oh my fucking god. My god. I told him I would. Walburn is pretty popular in school. I attribute it to his heart of gold. He's a funny dude, but also a genuinely kind guy. Terrence likes to call us the Optimist pair. Both Walburn and I are pretty cheery guys, but he's better at being at the cheery thing than me. He's a glass half full kind of dude, but the type that would just pour more water in the glass if he thought it looked empty. I'm a glass full, half full kind of dude, but because I'm a believer, he's a realist. I'm a romantic. You want to hang out some? I know you're always looking for an excuse to get fit and impress Jenny. Walburn grimaced. Sorry, man. Promise my mom I'd help her with some chores. Next time for sure. I told him no problem and was on my way. I started on my way to Terrence's place next. Walburn and Terrence are polar opposites. They say opposites attract for romantic partners, but I think it's more likely that's true in the case of friends. Walburn and I have been friends for as long as I can remember, but sometime in middle school, Walburn adopted Terrence into our friend group. It was surprising since they fought with each other all the time, but I guess somewhere along the line, they found respect for each other from all those fights. Oh! Great! He's emo. That's why! Cool. I love emos. I like refrigerators and emos. I'm totally giving a thumbs up to the screen. You can totally see that from your computer screen. Totally. When I arrived at Terrence's, the first thing he brought up was the murders, just like Warburg. So, your uncle's staying with you? Yep. You know any details? Nope. Figures. What's the point of being connected if you can't take advantage of it? Tell Mr. Rage he's not doing a very good job at being a corrupt cop. When he does become a corrupt cop, you send him my way and I'll do my best to learn. Bruh! I'll let him know. Wait, since when did you want to become a cop? I don't know. I don't. Ew. But I'd like to be corrupt for sure. Small place like this, hard to make anything for yourself here. I'm trying to make a helpful suggestion. You could be a good person and make something for yourself. That's some bullshit and you know it. Good people ain't becoming successful. Well, I guess I shouldn't root for your rise to the top then. He shook his head at my not understanding his ambition. Still, I wonder what's up with the killer for the Raddick case. Word is that the murder was absolutely brutal. Wonder what must go through the head of someone willing to do something like that. Also, welcome back from ads, chat. Hello. Welcome back from ads. Oh, excuse me. Terrence likes to psychoanalyze. Walburn is his favorite subject. He thinks that boy has issues. I'm guessing the killer's a psychopath. You know, doesn't think about right and wrong in the same ways most people do. I don't think that's what's going on with this case. This sort of murderous display screams to me that the killer was trying to send a message, or that this was some sort of fucked up therapy for the killer. It seems too personal to be the work of a psychopath. That I kind of agree with. That all feels like really like to purposely like divide everything up like that. That took some time. Most people don't even do that. His analysis made it seem like Dr. Kashak, who had fame for Marina Raddick, or Beryl Johnson, who had an affair with Marina's ex-husband, were the most likely candidates. Well, maybe. I don't know. You think it's some cliche like killing for love? Probably. Gotta be something like that. Dude, she was like 60. Do old people still fall in love? Of course, you idiot. Anyway, I doubt it was a woman. Hold on. There you go. Of course, you idiot. Anyway, I doubt it was a person who recently found love with her. I'm guessing it was someone who loved her a long time ago. That sort of brutality screams to me, if I can't have you in life, I'll have you in death. It must be someone who thinks they don't have much longer to live. That seemed a little out there. I let Terrence rant about how love destroys people's minds for a little longer and then left. Afterwards, I went to bike along the canal front. It's my favorite thing to do during the summer because of the way the breeze feels coming off the canal. We have plenty of trails, but biking on trails takes more effort. If you want to just get lost in your thoughts, the boardwalk along the canal is the place to do it. The news of the murders had occupied my thoughts most of the day, but as my mind wandered where I biked, they wandered back to last night, to the strange girl named Alexandra. I was just gonna say, when are we gonna mention her again? Like, I kind of missed my wife tales. I kind of missed her a lot. It's not every day you meet someone like that. She was a little weird, sure, but she definitely seemed like she could be fun too. Yep, probably. Just as that thought had crossed my mind, there she was, sitting in a gazebo with the same sad and regal look and regal posture from yesterday. I guess she had a thing for looking across the canal sadly. I biked over. I figured that a shared fireworks viewing established a good enough reason to at least stop and say hello. I set the kickstand for my bike and walked up to her. What's up, Alexandra? Funny seeing you here again. I thought that maybe we'd begun to break the ice a little last night, but upon hearing my voice, she turned around with an almost panicked look, which slowly turned to a judgmental sort of frown that indicated her displeasure that I dared disrupt her solitude. Okay, guess the ice was still there. Well, not every fireworks viewing results in lasting friendships. The potential and ephemerality of our everyday encounters makes them all the more meaningful. Or so I rationalized, as I thought of a good way to make a tactical retreat and leave her alone. But before I could figure out how to do that, she greeted me coldly. Hello, Nick. Well, at least you remembered my name. You, like looking at the canal. You are so fucking stupid. Say something nice to her. What is this bullshit? Like, listen. You're kind of being a simpleton, Nick. You tell her that she's pretty. Tell her that her hair looks nice. Say anything else. So, you like refrigerators? Asked statement. She nodded. The ensuing silence between us made the tactical treat look appealing once again. You're visiting the area, right? If so, there's a nice waterfall area across the bridge. Okay, see, that's better. That's like 20 times more better than what the fuck you were saying earlier. She scowled at that. It's none of your business. Guessing you still don't have a last name? I have a theory. I have a theory, ladies and gentlemen. Now, pray tell, and let me cook. So, she doesn't want to give us her name because she said, oh, like, it's not important. Oh, it's just like some danger shit. She did mention caretakers. Now, the only reason why some of these bitches would have caretakers is if someone hired them for her, right? So, I think she is Alexandra Thorne. I think that she's related to the Thorne family. That is my theory right now. My theory right now is that she is a member of the Thorne family, and that's why she doesn't want to reveal her name, because she doesn't want to be judged based off the name. That's the tea, sis. That's what I think. It's probably not the fucking case, but like, that would be really funny. Not for you to hear anyway. Yep, let's get out of here. I was busy being nosy, thinking that every lonely person needed to be talked to. Well, it was good to see you, but I better be heading out. I made to leave, but she stopped me with a sudden outburst. Wait, Nick. Did you hear about the murder last night? Well, yes. Kind of. I mean, my uncle is a fucking cop. Yeah, of course. Okay, never mind. I forgot she doesn't have family here. Never mind. Oh. Man. Theory gone. Never mind. Fuck. Man. I'm new to the area and I might be around for a while. I heard Alcantra was pretty safe, but then a murder happens. Pretty crazy, right? It is crazy. Something like this hasn't happened in a long, long time. Isn't your uncle the detective working on the case? Didn't she just say she was new to... I was just gonna say that! How the fuck do you know that? How the fuck do you know that I'm related to him? And how do you know that? She smiled at that. I've got my connections. Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! Fucking Makima, hell no! No. What, you gonna tell me my Erna history too? Don't ask me why that 10 of Rule 34 is in my search. Don't ask me that. That's not much of an answer. Everyone has heard of the Foxes, and the cool detective guy shows up occasionally. So the people who you're staying with told you. Something like that. I doubted my family was as well known as she claimed we were, but I saw no reason to hide the fact. Yeah, my uncle's a detective working on the case, and no, I can't give you any details. What does this have to do with anything? She stood up and made an extremely exaggerated gesture with her arms that I couldn't interpret. I think she was trying to make herself look impressive. Well, not to brag or anything, but I'm somewhat of a detective aficionado. Basically, the shut-in loner girl version of Sherlock Holmes. That sort of sentence did not match the Alexandra out of my mind, and me neither. Are you telling me that you're going to catch the murderer? She waved her hand. Oh, no, absolutely not. That sounds dangerous, which sounds like something I wouldn't do. No, I am going to offer a deal to you, though. She pointed a finger at me. I take it you're well acquainted with this town. Very. Then she pointed her finger at herself. And then we have pitiful old me, a girl with no friends, all alone in a strange new land. She was becoming quite the actress. Never would have guessed it of her. But this lonely girl harbors deep within herself a keen intellect, honed through years of solitude. Surely her powers of deduction could be of use to help solve the local tragedy that has recently struck this town. Then she pointed towards the heavens, which were blocked from us by the roof of the gazebo. I have tipped my most exaggerated, exasperated sigh. You did mention you like mystery novels. You really think I can help? You really think you can help? Maybe a little. So you want to play Sherlock. Well, I'm sorry, but I doubt they'll let a weird girl without a last name with no stated residency help with the investigation. She laughed, which was the first time I'd heard her do it. No, probably not. I wouldn't blame them. But I've got a deal for you. If you show me around town, I'll give you my thoughts on the murders. Oh. Okay. That's fair. I will be right back. Welcome back, chat. I got to pet a dog, and the dog was very cute. I love that dog. She was a sweet little baby. I'm gonna take a sip of my soda real quick. If you think they're helpful, you can relay them to Mr. Rage. I think it's in the town's best interest that the culprit is apprehended as soon as possible. I couldn't believe this girl. She really came up with this convoluted setup to ask me to show her around? What was her game? Was this a ploy to try to make a friend, or was there something she was hoping to get from me? Yeah, probably both. I don't fucking know. Is this an excuse for trying to make friends? No, it's a mutually beneficial offer. You know, it would have been fine to be like, oh, I'm new around here. Could you show me around? I'd really appreciate it. Or something like that. That's absurd. Who'd ask a stranger something like that? Literally anybody. I'm not a stranger. We met yesterday. Of course. And to repay the kind hospitality you showed yesterday, and which I have requested you to show me in the future, I have offered you the extent of my intellectual capabilities. I shook my head. I was still suspicious, but what ulterior motive could she really have? There was really nothing she could gain by hanging out with me besides becoming friends with me. I decided I would take her up on her offer. Sure thing, Alexandra. You got yourself a deal. I'll show you around the town and you'll solve the mysterious murder of Alcantra. She nodded like that was the most obvious conclusion to come to, smiled, and stuck out her hand. We have a deal then. We sure do. I shook her hand. Okay, so let's hear it, great Detective Alexandra. What do you make of the murder? She shook her head at me. That's rushing things. I need time to synthesize the information. Don't worry, I know you said you can't tell me anything, but I have plenty to work from what was reported in the news. So you're saying you want to explore town first? Yep. Isn't the phrase ladies first? Yeah, so we should listen to me first. And I say that I should learn about Alcantra. I couldn't argue with that, so I walked over to my bike, kicked up the stand, and started making my way to downtown, which is pretty close to the canal front. She followed a couple steps behind me. I think downtown would be a great place to start, given how close it is, and it's kind of historical if you're into that sort of thing. Is there anything besides a sheltered sort of princess like you? Is there anything that a sheltered sort of princess like you is dying to experience? Princess? I turned around and she had a big smile on her face and was a little red. I rolled my eyes. Don't roll your eyes at her. What the fuck? That wasn't meant to be a compliment. What? For someone who was so quick to barred responses, she didn't seem to be all that acquainted with sarcasm. Well, the way you hold yourself is very real. Most people don't care about their posture. Plus, no offense, you could be a little strange, like you're learning how to talk to people and don't have prior experience. Top it off with your more mysterious qualities, like not telling me a last name and stuff. That is a good point. You're onto something. I'll settle for being a princess. I had no idea what I was onto. She bowed ahead a couple paces from me, a marked change in demeanor compared to our previous interactions. Let's make this clear while we're on the subject. There are some topics that are off limits. My last name is one of them. Where I'm from and where I'm staying is another. Personal inquiries about my state of mind are also not allowed. Lastly, you cannot ask me about my family. She sure was demanding, but I was getting used to it at this point. Okay, that's fair. I won't ask about those things then. What year of school are you in? She seemed amused by that. I was homeschooled. That explained a lot. That makes sense. And I'm 18. I guess I'd have graduated from high school by now. The way she worded that was a little strange. Like being homeschooled meant you didn't get to graduate. Wow, never would have guessed that you're older than me. I'm older? I'm 17. Huh, then as you're elder, you better start treating me with some respect. With age comes wisdom after all. She put a lot of faith in that 1 year she had on me. I realized we had gotten derailed from my original question. I got the feeling this was going to happen a lot with her. The dynamic is so cute. I love that between them. Actually. So, back on topic. Anywhere besides downtown you're craving to see? She was thinking about it for a minute. How about Walmart? Seriously? You've never been to Walmart? She shook her head. Maybe she was a princess, or maybe an extremely religious type who avoided industrial society. We had some of those types around here. Well, then we can go to Walmart then. It's across town, so maybe we could do it another time. There's a lot of smaller shops downtown that have higher quality stuff. When we got to the downtown area, I started to explain the history of the town I knew. She brushed me off. She already knew it all and way better than I did. That bummed me out a little. But I love the story behind the summer festival. That's why I was there last night. What do you love about it? I like how hopeful the story is. Alcantra and Alistair's love transcended the grave. Figures you'd be such romantic. I ignored that I like that part of the story too. Of course I am. Everyone who loves stories has to be a little bit of a romantic. You read a lot then? I sure do. Lots and lots of books. We went to a coffee shop. According to Alexandra, it was her first time in a coffee shop. I was beginning to worry more and more that she belonged to a repressively religious family. Was it okay to be doing this? If her parents found out, maybe they were going to execute us for heretical premarital behavior, like going to coffee shops without parental supervision. Alexandra was petrified when it came to ordering the coffee. She cowered behind me and tried to telepathically communicate what she wanted, and then gave me lots of grief when I got her order wrong. You could have just told me you wanted the hazelnut flavor. She looked sadly into her cup of plain black coffee, reminding me of Uncle Kyle. But then I would have had to talk. And talking is hard. Hopefully it would get easier for her over time. I drank my strange raspberry flavored coffee, which was kind of gross, and she drank her plain black coffee, which she said was pretty good. And we headed to the antique shop next, which was a trip that lasted about 1 minute. She walked in, looked at one of the toy boats, and promptly walked out. I chased after her. Hey, wait up! There weren't even any people in there. Did you see the price on that boat? How could they charge such exorbitant rates? No, I didn't see the price because you walked down immediately. How much was it? $19.95 for that pitiful little boat? How does the economy come to? That was a bit high for a toy boat. It's an antique shop meant for tourists. They try to get people to spend lots of money. Well, I'm rich, but I'm not buying anything from that shop out of principle. You're rich? Figure of speech. Was it? Do you know anything about the economy? Not really, no. We headed off to our next destination, which was the library. I figured since she liked reading, she'd have a good time here, but she told me that her home had a massive library. Maybe she really was rich. I love being around books anyway, even if I've read most of them. There's no way you've read most of them. She raised an eyebrow at me. Don't challenge friendless people to games that can demonstrate their amount of free time. I walked up to the hardest looking books, which I immediately decided by looking for the biggest ones that look old. Okay, tell me the plot of this one. She probably proceeded to tell me the plot of every book I picked. So now I'm spoiled on War and Peace, Crime and Punishment, Moby Dick, Great Expeditions, Anna Karenina, Ulysses, and Don Quixote, unless she made up plots for each of them, which would have been even more impressive. I was going to have to keep my guard up around her. She was clearly much, much smarter than I was. So, what books do you read, Nick? I don't read books, and I figured I couldn't bluff my way out of this one, so I headed to the comic book section. I grabbed a couple of issues I was interested in, and when I turned to face Alexandra, she gave me the most pitying look I'd ever seen. Like she was looking at a cat that was so dumb it was eating its own tail. My god! I think you just lost your aura. I wilted on the spot and returned the comic books to their original locations. Okay then, what do you suggest? Her face brightened, and she briskly headed towards the other shelves. She returned with Pride and Prejudice, Dune, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, and a baseball reference book. I picked up some relatively easy reading, but here are some good books even someone like you would probably appreciate. I picked up one romance, a sci-fi fantasy book, and a mystery to diversify the reading. It also includes some sports nerd stuff since I figured you'd be into that sort of thing. I was a little touched by the thought. Unfortunately, I now had to read these. But who knows, maybe I'd actually like them. I wasn't going to tell her that I'd already read the baseball reference book. I checked out my books and we headed out. It was getting pretty late, and let's face it, she definitely wasn't ready for Walmart. We headed back to the gazebo where we met up. I'm sorry that it took so long, but I had a good time. So I could help out. I feel bad that I didn't offer any of my promised keen insight about the murders. But if you meet me here tomorrow at the same time we met today, I promise to keep up my end of the bargain. No sightseeing, only detective work. Sure, whatever you say. She gave me another smile, which was becoming more and more of a frequent occurrence, and headed off. I headed home as well, thinking that Mom would be thrilled if she knew what I was up to this afternoon. Okay, June 8th, 1987. I'm gonna take more bites of my pita chips. I was on my way to meet with Alexandra. Earlier, I decided to make use of my time before the meeting to learn what I could learn about the investigation. Uncle Kyle had been sleeping on the couch, and my parents were all out of the house. I'm a good kid for the most part, but I'm not above a little rule breaking. I casually walked into the room Uncle Kyle was staying in and rummaged around his briefcase to find some details on the suspects. I didn't understand most of the documents, but here's what I was able to find out. The Thorns were obviously the most suspicious. It looked like they were being treated as the most likely candidate to have Marina Raddick killed. The owner and bartender of a place called Classy Jack, Delilah Loving-Smith, was also another suspicion. She had a public fight with Marina about the tourism proposal. Miss Loving-Smith was a nice middle-aged lady, but she was also incredibly prideful and didn't back down from confrontation. She had been against the proposal and Marina had been for it. They had a pretty big spat about it. The next suspect was Beryl Johnson, not related to the Johnsons who ran that fast ice cream stall. She was an older woman, deeply involved with local politics. She's the head of the faction against the tourism proposal. Interesting. Okay. However, the reason she was a suspect was because her ex-husband had an affair with Marina Raddick many years ago. Her ex-husband left town shortly after. Yeah, I can't imagine you want to stay around after you cheat on your wife. The last suspect was Vladimir Kazak, a retired professor in his 70s. I didn't know anything about the dude, but the profile cited that he and Marina both came here from Serbia. Apparently, Dr. Kazak had a massive crush on her while they were in Serbia, and when they reunited here, he took it as a sign of destiny. Marina didn't reciprocate his feelings. It looked like he was a weird dude. Uncle Kyle had a note mentioned that he kept going on about her ghost and how it kept haunting him. I'm guessing the ghost referred to Marina Raddick. Those were the suspects, and here's how Uncle Kyle had ranked them in terms of suspicion. Okay, one, the Thorns makes sense. Beryl Johnson, Dr. Kashak, Delilah Loving-Smith. Okay, you know what this feels like? Have you guys seen Dance Moms? You know what they do, like the pyramid? Where it's like the kids who did the most good, right? Each week. This feels like that. That's what this feels like. That made sense to me. Delilah Loving-Smith didn't really have much of a motive. Dr. Kashak and Beryl Johnson had potential motives, but were both quite odd, and it was unlikely they would have committed the murder in as gruesome a fashion as the murder ended up being, given the physicality required. That left the Thorntons, who had a motive given Marina Raddick previously worked for them and had the resources to have someone killed. Dance Moms is the worst reality show on earth. My sister was really into it when she was young. I just really like the memes. The memes are really fucking funny. And then there was that clip of what's her name? Like the one who essentially runs the fucking program. Like on her little mobility scooter just fucking zooming. That shit was funny. That shit was funny as fuck. Oh goodness. There we go. The last thing of note I could find was that Alicia Raddick, Marina's daughter, was under police protection right now in case the family was being targeted. That would have set Walburn at ease. Yep, probably. That's what I was able to find. I apologized to Uncle Kyle in my head, but I wanted to see if Alexandra was legit. I got the feeling she was bluffing about being a Sherlockian and was just a weird girl visiting town. But if she was on the right track with her deductions, I wanted to know. I left the house a little after 2:30 and showed up right at 3. Alexandra was already there, looking very pompous. I pulled my bike up to her. Hey there, sorry if I kept you waiting. She looked at me a little standoffishly, as if I kept her waiting. Hello. How have you been? Though I guess it's only been a day. I've been well and have been thinking. And how have you been? I'm well, though I haven't been thinking. As expected. I'm guessing you haven't read any of the books you borrowed yesterday. No. I admitted that knowing she'd see through my lies, I could tell. Any lies, I could tell. She shook her head in exaggerated motion and gave me a very displeased look. Figures. You can't trust men. They make such sweet promises only to break your heart. No, it's better to console yourself with the timeless characters of books. Much less heartbreak that way. That seemed a little dramatic. Plus, there seemed to be a lot of heartbreak in the plots of those books she told me about yesterday. Since when did I promise I would read the books? It was implicit. Okay. I promise the next time we meet, I'll have read all of Pride and Prejudice. And if you don't, we'll jump off that bridge when we get there. She turned to look at the bridge behind us. It was a figure of speech, and speaking of promises, it's time to make good on yours, Sherlock. Are you ready to solve the mysterious murders of Alcantra? Yes, I put a lot of thought into the case and I'm ready. She made an exaggerated knuckle-cracking gesture to make herself look important. Let's get down to business. I'm an expert on murder. I was hoping that was from her murder mysteries. Let's start with Marina Radek. We know she was an older lady. We also know that her murder was particularly gruesome, involving separation of limbs from the body. It seems likely that her mere death was not the only goal given the state of the body. The police sent a report that the house was broken into. That means the murderer was likely someone she knew and was willing to let into her house. Given this, we can likely conclude that the murderer had a particularly deep-seated grudge. I figured I could play along with her. I told Alexandra what Terrence had told me earlier and how he thought the best explanation was something like a love affair. That's reasonable. I agree that it's implausible that Marina Radek's murderer killed her out of pure psychopathy. Psychopaths are quite logical. While the killer waited until there was a low chance someone in the area could be a potential witness to them entering the house, it seems rather bold to murder Miss Radek in her own house when she had a commitment later that evening. Why not wait for a better opportunity after the festival? The killer got lucky nobody saw them enter Mrs. Radek's home. Given this, I suspect the murder was actually an impulsive decision. Yeah, it probably was. They came there to meet with her and didn't like what resulted from that meeting ending in brutal murder. Meeting, you say? That was something I hadn't considered. It was impressive what she had come up with so far, but she couldn't deduce much more with what was shown publicly. However, her next words caught me by surprise. Now, let's move on to the suspects. Wait, you know the suspects? I don't know the suspects. I have figured out some potential suspects. What good would a detective be if they didn't come up with suspects? I mean, that's true, but did she really go investigating on her own? From what I could tell, there were only 4 real candidates for the murder. Olga Thorne, Vlade Thorne, Belle Johnson, and Professor Kashak. I'm sorry. How do you know that? She gave me a mischievous smile. So you do know some of the details of the investigation, as expected from a relative of the detective. I should be able to hear the alerts. That's so fucking weird. That is odd. That is quite odd. Anyway. Yeah. Oh wait. Did I read that part? Oh, so you do know some details of the investigation, as expected from a relative of the detective. Yeah, I do. I overheard some stuff, but how do you know that? You said this is your first time in Alcantra, right? Yes, but I don't know what that has to do with anything. You couldn't even order a cup of coffee yesterday. Even if you're a great detective, there's no way you have the social skills to pull off an investigation in a town you're unfamiliar with. She raised an eyebrow at me. That's kind of mean, don't you think? Anyway, you don't need social skills to get information. Okay, how did you get your information then? careful questing and careful listening. That's not much of an answer. It wasn't much of a question. Are you going to let me continue? I was suspicious now. There was more to her than she let on. Was her behavior yesterday an act? And what was the purpose of that deal we made? There is also one more suspect. Oh? You mean Delilah Loving-Smith? Yeah. I don't consider her a real suspect. A public fight in your restaurant isn't much of a motive for murder, let alone the type of murder this was. How'd you find out about the fight? I have my sources. I don't trust her! I don't trust this shit! I really don't. I am highly suspicious right now. Okay. And they are? They wish to remain anonymous. I scoffed. Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? Additionally, I think we can rule out Dr. Kashak. He's too old and frail. It looks like she didn't know about the ghost Dr. Kashak mentioned, so she wasn't omniscient. Beryl Johnson is more spry, but I doubt she did as well. She's a simple character who wears her heart on her sleeve. She's in charge of the anti-tourism proposal faction and really cares about it. She wouldn't do anything to risk her image right now. This just leaves Elgar and Vlad Thorne, who are the most obvious candidates from the start. Yeah, I got that. That makes sense. Wouldn't the Thornes care about their image as well? The Thornes care about their image, but unlike Beryl Johnson, they have the capability to hide their involvement. The Thornes are the only ones to really lose much with Marina being alive if she had that info that could compromise the Thorne legacy gained from when she worked there. But why would they take such a dramatic route for killing her then? She worked for them, so there's a good chance she had potential ties to them. She gave a triumphant smile. That lets us conclude quite a lot. The murderer is someone from the Thorne family who had a personal grudge with Marina Radek related to information from the Thorne family wants to keep secret. That does make sense. However, I'm actually going to check something with my Twitch. Because for some reason, some of these alerts aren't going off. Well, not that they're not going off. The noise isn't going for some reason. Okay, we are going to send a test alert real quick. Huh. Okay, what if I do it from... One more time. Huh. That is bizarre. That is really, really bizarre. Why can't I... Huh. Okay, that's a little weird. Don't know why it's doing that. That's odd. Oh wait. Is it because of this? Hold on. Let me try something here. Okay. Now let me try it. There we go. That's why. I was very confused. I just had to move the sources up. Anyway. They went to visit her to find out what she knew. When they found out, they killed her. This isn't a murder mystery. This is an issue of whether a powerful family is powerful enough to keep a criminal activity under wraps. Well, yeah, probably. But probably, I don't know, but probably. Her face darkened. The likely impulsiveness bothers me, though. If it was a Thorne family, you'd think they wouldn't have done this during the daytime. It seems too risky. The murder being impromptu based on what they found out from Marina is still the most likely scenario, but to kill her right then and there? That suggests someone from that family is pretty unhinged. She looked at me. I also suspect her killer isn't done yet. Ooh. Maybe. hadn't even considered the possibility that there would be more murders. It was so bizarre for Alcantra to have any murderers running around, let alone a serial killer. Yeah, probably could happen. That was a scary thought. Alcantra had been my home for all my life. I couldn't ever imagine it ever being somewhere dangerous to live. Why do you think they aren't done yet? This is just a feeling, but given the likelihood that the killer isn't, how should I say this, thinking all that clearly, I worry that they're aiming to settle all personal grudges related to whatever caused them to kill Marina. The Thorne family normally works with clear modus operandi. They wouldn't resort to something drastic like this. Did I skip anything? I just realized. Oh, I didn't. I lied. I really hope you're wrong. So do I. So, between Elgar, Vlad, or both, who do you think it is? I guess it'd have to be Elgar since Vlad was born right around when Marina left. But he's kind of old. Do you think he really could have pulled that off? For precisely that reason, I don't think it's Elgar Thorne. Well, there's lots of people at the Thorne mansion. It doesn't necessarily have to be Elgar or Vlad. No, I know it's Vlad Thorne. You do? How do you know that? He was just born when she left. That make it kind of weird for him to have a personal grudge against her. Unless he didn't agree with some of the shit she was saying. She just shrugged. Gut feeling. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Yeah, gut feeling. Yeah, alright, buddy. You have a gut feeling, and, I have a massive ween. I rolled my eyes, but aside from that last statement, I was pretty impressed with her detective work. Pretty impressed, but pretty suspicious as well. There was much more to her than she let on. Well, you really lived up to the end of the bargain, but surely you have more than just a gut feeling to suspect Vlad. Alexandra's face darkened again, looking downright venomous. No, it's just a gut feeling. If there is an impulsive murder among the Thorns, it's definitely Vlad. That's not very deductive. To my surprise, she smiled. Well, I can't be perfect on everything. She let out a big breath. Phew, that might have been the longest I've talked in my life. A Thorne family member, probably Vlad, visited Marina Radek to find out what info she had about the Thorns from her time working for them and killed her out of a personal grudge once they found out. She gave a silly little curtsy and I gave her some applause. She looked very pleased with herself. I decided I could play along some more. If you're Sherlock, I guess that makes me Watson. I slapped my shoulders in defeat. Watson is supposed to be dumb, isn't he? Alexandra laughed. She leaned in a little bit towards me and said mischievously, Don't worry, you make a wonderful Watson. I couldn't tell if that was an attempt to... I couldn't... Let me scroll. I couldn't tell if that was an attempt to flirt or if she was just calling me dumb. I suppose the two weren't mutually exclusive. So, can I relay your deductions to Detective Rage? Or is this supposed to stay between us? Sure, go ahead. I hope it helps him with the investigation. Let him know that you learned all this from this charming and mysterious girl you met. But if he decides to act on anything, then he didn't learn it from me. You're really okay with me telling him about you? You seem like the type to keep yourself a secret. She gave me that mischievous look again. I know it must be tempting to keep me to yourself, but I can't hide from people forever. Also, I was hoping this wouldn't be the end of our deal. And if we still meet up with each other, have to eventually meet other people, so... She trailed off, looking a little awkward. I agreed. I stepped in to help her out. Of course, I always assumed this wasn't a one-time deal. I still have to take you to Walmart after all. You mean it? Sure do. Do you, have lots of friends? Well, sort of. I have lots of friends, but it's summer break, so people are off doing different things. I have two very close friends I hang out with during the summer all the time. I took a look at her. She was trying to hide a smile now. You really are lonely, huh? Sure am. I thought that was a kind of a pathetic thing to admit, but she seemed happy enough now. We made plans to meet up, in which I promised to take her to Walmart. We agreed that she would contribute to the mystery when she could between our town excursions. Before she headed out, I asked her a question. Hey, Alexandra, be honest with me. Am I your first friend? We're friends? Unless you don't want to be. No, I like to be friends. You just caught me off guard. You know, you non-princess types use that word very casually. Uh-huh. And yes, she gave me one last smile for the day. You are. Yay! She left with that. I didn't head home immediately. I stayed at the gazebo looking at the canal a little longer. I had things to wonder about. The murders were mysterious, but they aren't the only mysterious thing. Alexandra, you're mysterious too. Are you just a shy girl trying to make friends? Or is there something more to you? There were several things that didn't really add up. Obviously, there was the fact that she wouldn't tell me about her personal situation. But what made me the most suspicious was that someone who was supposedly new to the area and didn't have any connections knew so much about the suspects in the case. And it seemed like she knew even more than I did, and I lived here my entire life. Plus had access to the investigation files. So how did she learn what she knew? There was also her strange certainty about some of her deductions. There was the insistence that Miss Raddick's murderer killed her impulsively. It was possible, but I don't know how you could really determine that. Additionally, why was she so certain that the murderer was Vlad? It seemed like if one of the Thorntons did it, it'd more than likely be Elgar, given he's much closer to Marina's age and much more likely to have personal ties to her. It seemed to me that Alexandra had concluded that Vlad was a murderer and built her deductions around that. To her credit, her story fit reality perfectly well. I wouldn't be surprised if she was right. There's something a little creepy about that. She proposed this deal to me. I thought it was to make friends. I wanted that to be true, but I had my doubts now. What if there was something she was hoping to achieve from this? But I just couldn't think of anything she'd gain from this deal if that was the case. I let out a big sigh. You really are a mystery, Alexandra. In 1997. Oh, we're jumping back to our other person. That's crazy. Okay. This here is where we're actually going to save. I have it saved. See? Okay. Anyway. We're going to go ahead and raid out into some Ustream. Who are we stalking today? Who are we raiding today? Who are we raiding today? Who's live? Damn, I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out who to raid out to. Damn. The fuck? Bruh. Oh, here we go. We're gonna be raiding out into Lord or Nirel's TDV. It looks like he's playing Repo. Thank you for checking out our gaming interview. I hope you enjoyed. I did so much. It's gonna be a raid message. And then it's not that one. Okay. This is going to be a raid message. Be sure to copy and paste it. The Fall in Love Festival is going to be here until October. Let me check my calendar. It's going to be here until October 1st. So be sure to check out the links that I provided in the pinned comment. Make sure to check out the store page, and be sure to check out the story page for Ghost of Alcantra. We might be streaming it tomorrow as well, so be sure to tune in for that. And be sure to check out the other games that are on their catalog as well. And if you're going to be watching this on YouTube, I'm also going to have these links in the description of the VOD. But thank you guys so much for coming into stream today. I had a lot of fun interviewing and playing silly games. We will be back tomorrow, probably around the same time. Probably also going to be around 4 p.m. PST. And I will see you guys later. We're raiding out. Bye, we're rating. Bye, we're rating. Bye, we're rating. We're rating. It's rate time. It's rate time. Bye.